Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Baseball League All-Star Game has come and gone, and that means only one thing. It's crunch time. Despite a tumultuous month of July, Hyannis enters this game off the heels of a couple of wins just before the break. The Harbor Hawks return to Stony Brook Field in Brewster to face a Whitecaps squad it has yet to beat in 3 meetings this season. It's the final 12 games of the summer on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Folks, how lucky are we, and welcome Diamond Side to Stony Brook Field ahead of Hyannis and Brewster for a 4th time this summer. Giovanni Collada with Max Schwartzberg and Graham Nash. As always, guys, after the longest break of the season, Hyannis back for the final 12 games of the summer. It was a fun All-Star weekend, Max, full of festivities, and now the teams return for that decisive final stretch. This is the time of the summer where the team's true identities are revealed before the postseason.
And I like the word you use, geo-identity, because this is a Hyannis team that in July, during all those struggles, they kind of didn't have that identity, and a lot of that came from the roster influx. They were one of the teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League that were affected the most by changes, and now there might be a sense of security, a more sense of understanding of who your team is going on, and that maybe can help that identity that they've been searching for.
Over 10 new position players and pitchers since July 7th have joined the Harbor Hawks roster, and Graham, it seemed like the All-Star break would be opportune for a Hyannis team that struggled at the beginning of last week with that 5-game losing streak, but with a pair of late week wins, Hyannis needs to rekindle that momentum now.
Yeah, and it kind of did. I mean, the Hawks, they had that 2-game winning streak right before the All-Star break, and what was really impressive over those 2 games is they were won in different ways. The first game at Chatham, the pitching was phenomenal. I mean, 2 walks. We've been talking about free passes the entirety in the month of July. Only 2 walks from that pitching staff that really struggled, including the relievers, who were phenomenal in that game. So it was all around, start to finish, a very well-performed baseball game. And then at home the very next day, it was a little bit different. Falmouth kind of jumped on them. Free passes were all the way back up to 7 walks in that ball game, but they matched them. We talk a lot as well about matching your opponent. Hyannis went up and got that ball game. It was really well fought, and the Hawks, they took advantage of some mistakes from the Commodores.
Certainly a mistake in that decisive final 9th inning. Mitch Carricker was happy to not have a 9th inning rally as I spoke to him pregame. Take a listen. Giovanni Collada with manager Mitch Carricker ahead of Hyannis and Brewster. Coach, you come off managing the West Division in the All-Star game. What was your first All-Star experience like?
Oh, it was fun. I was there last year as an assistant and there as the manager this year, and really cool opportunity. And it's just a fun day for everybody. Getting to know some of the players across the league and then hanging out with all the managers. It was a really fun day.
You get the break as well with the off day, but you've got to rekindle some momentum from the end of the week. What's going to go into that?
Yeah, I think the guys feel really good about going into today. They feel like we haven't missed a beat, even with the 2 off days. They came out with some energy and had a really good pregame, and so hopefully that carries into the first pitch today.
Let's go back to the last time you guys played a very wild game against Falmouth in that ending sequence. A couple 9th inning rallies didn't go your way last week, but how did it feel to not need one that night?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, the guys put together a really good 8th inning. Our pitching staff did a really nice job, and so need to replicate that tonight.
You got a Brewster team that's beaten you 3 times this year. What's difficult about the Whitecaps this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've had our number, and, it starts on the mound. I mean, they've pitched really, really well against us, and we feel like we haven't been able to get anything going offensively against them. And then, partner that with some really good at-bats on their side. They put up a lot of runs. So, it's a new day, new opportunity, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting our first win against these guys this season.
What's the key to flipping that script?
Yeah, I think, like we talked about the last 2 games, we played really consistently, from the mound. Defensive effort has been outstanding, and then, offensively we've been able to scratch across some runs, so just need to keep that going.
Hyannis and Brewster for a 4th meeting this summer here at Stony Brook Field. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Guys? Well, Max, Coach Carricker said after the last game that he feels Brewster has consistently thrown its best arms against Hyannis. That was on July 6th, and it's his cardinal concern today as well.
Well, yeah, it has been a while since these two teams faced off, and that can actually work into Hyannis' advantage because, as you mentioned, Gio, the Brewster pitching staff has had Hyannis' number all summer long, but that was also during a kind of a different-looking team. And, of course, Hyannis rolling out, it seems like, a new roster every couple days over the past few weeks. They now have that sense of solidarity, and they have an opportunity now to have these new life, new fresh blood ready to fight these Brewster arms.
Mentioned Hyannis 0-3 against Brewster this season, but Mitch Carricker's got a couple of his all-star hitters in the lineup today, and our sideline reporters caught up with both of them pregame. First, it was Ava Fernandez with Ryan McKay.
Ava Fernandez alongside Ryan McKay, who just played in the All-Star game this weekend. What was that experience like for you playing in the All-Star game?
It was awesome. Got to meet a whole bunch of guys from all over the league and all over the country. A whole bunch of studs, so it was fun playing with guys that are so good at such a good level.
Yeah, and you went one for 2 with the double, collecting 2 RBIs. So what kind of your approach at bat playing against those all-stars who you play against every single day?
Yeah, I was really just trying to have fun and stay loose. My first at-bat popped out, went to the next at-bat, same thing, trying to have fun. I was thankfully enough to find a barrel and then hit into the gap and got a double, and that was really fun.
Yeah, and I put you on vlog duty this weekend. What was your favorite part about vlogging for the weekend?
It was fun, just showing the fans, a day in the life, the All-Star game. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks for, putting me for that job.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can see Ryan in the lineup tonight, and we hope you have a great game.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ava. Graham, Ryan McKay's been a mainstay in this Hyannis lineup at most every position, second base, DH, you name it, he does it all. Had a pretty solid day in the All-Star game with a couple of RBIs, and he'll be a familiar face for Mitch Carricker amid, as Max said, a lineup that's seen a lot of change.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty consistent because not only has there been a lot of change, but there are a lot of guys who aren't as experienced against such high competition like Ryan McKay and Jeff Lugie are. Lugie being another All-Star for Hyannis this season. But McKay, he's on such a hot streak. He's really been phenomenal from start to finish. There are not many players we can say that about this season for Hyannis because there has been so much flux and so much change, but he has been a mainstay.
We said we had 2 All-Stars on the pregame show today, and indeed we do. Ethan Wax caught up with Jeff Lugie of Duke pregame.
Alongside Jeff Lugie. And Jeff, what was the All-Star experience like?
It was amazing. I mean, being out there with everyone, all the fans, signing autographs, it was really fun.
And what adjustments do you think you have to make and the team in terms of for the next 12 games for the remainder of the season?
I wouldn't necessarily say we need to make any adjustments, sort of just sticking through it. I know it's been a long summer, a lot of baseball games, just finishing out strong.
And Brewster is 3-0 against you Hawks, and what can you do differently to change the outcome?
I mean, just play together, playing the hardest today, go out there and win each pitch, and I think the results will speak for themselves.
Thank you very much for your time, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Ethan. First pitch between Hyannis and Brewster upcoming. We'll see you right back here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
So I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
So I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster. It's a picture-perfect Monday after the All-Star break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash ahead of the Whitecaps and the Harbor Hawks for the 4th time this year. And let's see how Harbor Hawks manager Mitch Carricker lines them up after managing the West Division All-Star team this past Saturday at Red Wilson Field. It's Jake Schaffner, the shortstop, to lead it off yet again, lefty to righty with Jace Doby in the 2-hole. First baseman, followed up by Ryan McKay at second, batting third. Another All-Star will follow him up in the cleanup spot, and a left fielder, Jeff Luigi, lefty and lefty, followed up by a righty in Dayton LaChance. He's catching for the 2nd time this summer and batting 5th. Charlie Bates DHs for the first time all summer long out of the 6th hole, and the lefty will give way to a righty in Miles Davis, just today committing to the University of Oklahoma from the State College of Florida. He's playing 3rd and batting 7th. Owen Prince is in center field, batting 8th, and Sawyer Black is the 9-man right fielder. Rounds it out for Hyannis. The defensive alignment for Brewster from left to right in the outfield. It's Carson Kearse at left, Scott Newman in center, Adam Magpock in right. From 3rd to 1st, Brendan Lawson. Cal Fisher is at shortstop, Dalton Wentz at second base, Colin Priest at first, Alex Sosa behind the plate, Carson Tinney is the DH, and Ryan Peach is the starting pitcher for Brewster today. A righty out of Xavier, a rising junior and a native of Aurora, Ohio. Only has one prior start this summer on July 15th against the Wareham Gatemen, a game that Brewster lost amid a 7-game win streak for the Gatemen. Stretched 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, didn't give up a run, and struck out 3. And this is a pitcher, Graham, from Xavier. It's now just one of these newer guys that Hyannis will have not seen yet this season. That's now going to be a part of a Brewster pitching staff that's done very well against the Harbor Hawks this year.
Yeah, it really has. Brewster pitching has shut down and shut out Hyannis. In all 3 games played, Hyannis has not scored more than 5 runs once. In the first 2, Hyannis didn't score more than 2 runs. It was really a beatdown served by this Brewster pitching. And so the bats for Hyannis are going to be key, not only being active early, but trying to be consistent against a pitching staff that it's been very streaky against.
Jake Schaffner strides to the plate, first batter of the game here in the top of the 1st at Stony Brook Field. Righty Ryan Peach set from the stretch. He holds the glove at his belt, rocks and fires. And first ball paints the inside corner at 5:05. 5 minutes late, 73 degrees, and not a cloud in the sky, but it is windy at Stony Brook Field today. 0-1 pitch. Schaffner slices it fouled on the third base line. 0-2. Jake Schaffner has led off quite a bit, especially recently. He's done so in each of the last 3 games, batted second against Bourne on the 16th. Used to being in the top of the lineup, the rising junior headed to North Carolina from North Dakota State. Righty on lefty, reaches pitch. Another foul ball lifted down the third base line. Jake Schaffner, 4 at-bats. He got 1 hit and an RBI with a couple of strikeouts to go along with a sac fly in the 8th and a single. The big night for him was on the 17th against Chatham, where he knocked a grand slam in an 8-1 win over the A's. 0-2 offering. Roped high into center field. Scott Newman charges to the alley and makes out number 1.
Schaffner not getting the result that he wanted, obviously, but still, the 3 swings that he made, I thought that they were really, really good. He sent the 2 foul balls down the left side, and then that one he poked it into left center, so he's working it the opposite way. And for Schaffner, that's always a good sign of being ahead of a baseball and seeing it really, really well.
1 out, no one aboard for the first baseman, Jace Doby. Swings it from the right side. Still a scoreless affair here in the top of the 1st. Ryan Peach from the stretch, he deals. Fastball clips the outer corner for strike 1. Clock's at 90 miles per hour. That's where he sat on that prior count to Jake Schaffner, who flew out to center to begin the game. 0-1. Sails high above the letters, 1-1. Dobie's a rising senior at Nevada, but only played his first season of D1 baseball this past spring and did very well, earning all Mountain West first team with a .339 average, good for second on the team. A 1-1 offering. Sliced foul down the first base line. Dobie began his career with 2 years of junior college at West Valley College in Saratoga, California, and then at Mission College in Santa Clara. He's a native of Santa Clara himself. Digs in from the righty box. Peach set from the stretch. He offers, shoots it foul, and breaks the bat in the process. Snapped the top part as he walks to the dugout just past the on-deck circle in search of a new one.
Yeah, that's going to become firewood here in a couple seconds, but looked like it was just that breaking ball, and he just kind of missed it, got it towards the end of the bat, and it just splintered right off the end. But Dobie, he's still finding it pretty well. A second foul ball of the at-bat, and he's in there. He's doing a pretty good job digging in, coming off of 2 tougher performances his last 2 times out, but he started out red hot. He had a really good start to his Cape League season and is trying to get some of that mustard back.
He replaced his teal and cream bat with a dark purple and cream bat. Now steps back into the righty box as he taps the dirt twice. Dobie started off his Cape League career red hot, 4 for 4 on the 15th against YD with 4 hits and a walk. Swings the bat towards Peach, set from the stretch with a glove at his chest. 1-2 payoff. Shot foul right back to the backstop. For Jace Dobie, somewhat of an awkward stance. Puts his lead foot, which is his left, on the back paint of the righty box and really squats into that crouch. Peach takes a breath from the bump, now fires. And Dobie launches it high into right. Adam Magpock takes a few steps towards the line and gloves a second out. A couple of flyouts to start the game for Ryan Peach. 1 to center, 1 to right.
And he's looking pretty strong up there, Ryan Peach. Only his second appearance of the Cape League season. He's very new to this Brewster team and to just the Cape Cod Baseball League in general. But he allowed 3 hits his first time up against Wareham. Didn't allow a run, struck out 3. So he's got a good mix of being able to strike guys out and then getting them to ground or fly into weak contact.
Second lefty in the order for Mitch Carricker. It's the second baseman, Ryan McKay, and the 3-hole. 2 outs and no one aboard. Peach's first offering. A fastball that dots the inside corner for a first strike. Still a scoreless affair here in the top of the first at Stony Brook Field. Harbor Hawks and Whitecaps facing off for a 4th time this Cape League summer. First game since the All-Star break. 0-1 pitch. Launched foul down the third base line. Long run for Carson Kirst towards the bullpen. He loses the hat as he hits into the fence and watches it fly out of play. A long second strike for Ryan McKay. Played in the Cape League All-Star game and actually started at second base as he is today. Went 1 for 2 with a run scored and a pair of RBIs on a single early in the game. Wearing his All-Star game helmet in the place of his normally royal blue Harbor Hawk helmet. He's got a navy blue Cape League helmet on today. Lefty out of Michigan State. 0-2. Checks the swing on the appeal. He did. And it's a strikeout to end the top of the first for Ryan Peach after a pair of flyouts. We're still scoreless here at Stony Brook Field, headed bottom 1.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Bottom half of the first at Stony Brook Field. It's a 0 in the top half of the frame for Hyannis after a 1-2-3 frame for Ryan Peach of Xavier. Brewster trots out. This lineup is penciled in by two-time Cape League champion manager Jamie Shevchik. The right fielder Adam Macpock leads it off. Cal Fisher, the all-star shortstop, bats second. Brendan Lawson, the third baseman, in the 3 spot, with Alex Sosa, the catcher out of NC State, batting fourth. Dalton Wentz has been money for the Caps this season. He bats fifth and plays second. Colin Priest is in the 6th hole, and the first baseman, followed up by Carson Curse in left field, batting 7th. Carson Tinney transferred from Notre Dame to Texas this season. He DHs and bats 8th. Scott Newman rounds it out in the 9th spot at playing center field. In the outfield for Hyannis, from left to right, it's all-star Jeff Luigi. In left field, Owen Prince. In center, Sawyer Black in right. Miles Davis just committed to Oklahoma today. He's at third base. Jake Schaffner is at shortstop once again. All-star Ryan McKay at second base. Jace Doby at first. Charlie Bates is the DH, and Dayton LaChance is the battery for Eddie Copper III, rising redshirt junior out of Charlotte, headed to the 49ers from the South Carolina Gamecocks. Only his second start of the season, but appearance number 8 this year for the righty. Last stretched 4 innings on the 13th at Cotuit. Took the loss in his first start. Switch hitting Adam Macpock digs in for Brewster. First batter of the game. The righty Copper comes home, and Macpock slashes a foul ball out of play down the third base line. Macpock showed off the speed last time against Hyannis, stealing a couple bases, scoring a couple runs as well. Copper works on the windup. He rocks and fires. Breaking ball finds the inside corner for strike 2.
Eddie Copper, he had a lot of success the second time through the batting order of Cotuit. The first time he struggled a little bit, allowed 3 singles and a walk with 2 runs.
0-2 pitch. Another foul ball down the third base line from Macpock.
So getting a good start here is going to be imperative for his success. He did a pretty good job the second time through the Kettleers order, which is interesting because usually that's when things start to go sideways for a starting pitcher, but he only allowed 1 single and 1 double for 1 run the second time through the Cotuit order.
0-2 pitch. Skips into LaChance behind the plate, and Macpock earns a first ball of the count. Macpock, formerly at Boston College, headed to San Diego State. As he announced during this Cape League season, he led the Eagles in steals this past spring. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball drifts outside, and it's a level count, 2-2. Copper, meanwhile, a day 1 Harbor Hawk that came to the Cape uncommitted. He announced his transfer to Charlotte on June 16th, just 2 days into the season. 2-2. Macpock drills it out to the right center field alley. Owen Prince on the run, and he makes the grab for a long first out. Off the bat, Macpock thought he had one, just got a hair under it with the wind blowing in his face. Gusts of up to 11 miles per hour pregame, and it allowed that ball to come back into Owen Prince out of VMI, the center fielder.
And there's a lot of sun out there right now, Gio, so playing in the outfield is going to be a real struggle.
1 out, no one aboard for the righty Cal Fisher. Shortstop batting second today for Jamie Shevchik. No score in the bottom of the first between Hyannis and Brewster. First offering from Copper sails outside, 1-0. Fisher, a rising junior out of Florida State, a native of Deerfield, Wisconsin. He's played in 16 games for Brewster this summer. 1-0. Clapped into right field. Sawyer Black charges to the track. Backhanded flash of the leather for out number 2. And each of these pitchers, Graham, start their outings with flyouts.
Yeah, I was going to say, freakishly similar start for Copper and Peach, but they're doing a good job right now of putting it kind of high and low in the zone, switching up level, switching up speed, and it's creating a lot of those fly balls. Out of Macpock, hit one pretty hard, but that one from Fisher well off the end of the bat, so clearly wasn't going to go all the way to the wall.
Here's the Florida Gator, Brendan Lawson. First natural lefty of the order for Jamie Shevchik, as Copper dishes a first pitch strike of the fastball. Lawson, a rising sophomore, native of Toronto. 0-1 offering. Breaking ball flutters in for strike 2. Copper struck out 3 Kettleers in his last outing. He struck out multiple opponents in each of his last 4 outings coming into today. 0-2. Lawson fights it off down the third base line. Lawson, an all-star for the Whitecaps, having played in 11 games with an average at .361. He's launched 3 home runs for the Whitecaps and went 2 for 3 in a wild all-star game. 0-2 is in the dirt, skips outside to Dayton LaChance, 1-2.
And now Eddie Copper kind of has some room to work with. Ahead 0-2, he can kind of get a little creative now and mix in some pitches in some spots that you wouldn't normally start with right out of the gate, but it can build his confidence, especially going into the next inning.
Copper pitches. And 1-2 misses outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was the first time I think that we've seen that changeup from him going up against a natural lefty, and it looked really, really good, just a little too much arm side movement.
Copper comes set from the windup. The lefty digs into the box. He kicks and throws. Breaking ball drifts outside to run the count full. Infield shifting the lefty to pull. The middle infielders, their heels on the outfield grass. While one of the corner infielders and the first baseman, Doby, is in right. Miles Davis shades to the bag. 3-2. Ripped into right field and dunks over McKay for a base hit. Lawson takes a wide turnaround first, but stops there. It's a 2-out single for the Florida Gator, Brendan Lawson.
Well, that's got to feel really good. Brendan Lawson did not get a hit the last time that these two teams played. Just drew a walk, still got over to first base, but really, really good hit there. Pitch up in the zone. He took it for a ride, just pulled it right past Ryan McKay.
A guy in Brendan Lawson that's played a ton of baseball. 60 games for the Gators. Those 60 games played, 60 starts. All in the middle infield, or rather corner infield. Alex Sosa, the lefty catcher out of North Carolina State, digs in. He's going to be teammates with Harbor Hawk outfielder Devin Mitchell. 2 outs and a man aboard. First pitch. Chops first one down the first base line as Copper threw him a breaking ball. No score between Hyannis and Brewster in the bottom of the first. Of course, the Whitecaps exploded to a 10-4 victory last time these two teams played on July 6th. With a decisive couple of middle innings in a row, some crooked numbers against the Harbor Hawks pitching staff. 0-1. Fastball sails above the letters. Ball 1. Eddie Copper switches from the windup to the stretch with a runner on base in Brendan Lawson. He dished a 2-out single into right field. Takes a breath from the stretch, now fires. And Sosa cranks this ball into right field. Sawyer Black races to the track. He stops at the wall and makes the grab just in front of the fence. Sosa gave it a ride with a man on. It would have been a 2-run blast, but Sawyer Black to the rescue for Eddie Copper. Just the one hit, no runs, no errors. One man left on base after Alex Sosa's flyout. We head to the second inning here at Stony Brook Field, still scoreless.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Through one full frame here at Stony Brook Field, a couple of zeros on the scoreboard after Eddie Copper faced one above the minimum in the bottom half of the frame for Hyannis. Ryan Peach comes up back to the rubber after facing the minimum with an inning-ending strikeout of Ryan McKay in the top of the first. 4, 5, and 6 then due up for the Harbor Hawks. It'll be lefty, righty, lefty with the left fielder Jeff Luigi starting things off. And for a guy that just got to Hyannis in the middle of the season, now played in a bunch of games, for him to make the Cape League All-Star game a doubly impressive feat. But it's not like he didn't earn it. In 12 games before the All-Star break, 341 average, 931 OPS. Had a decisive hit in the last game on the Friday before the All-Star break, a 6-5 Hyannis win over Falmouth, in which his 2 RBI double gave the Harbor Hawks the lead for good. Hawks sit 3rd in the West Division, tied with Bourne, but with more losses than the Braves. Additionally, with a couple of losses to the Braves themselves. Just 1 point out of first with Wareham, while Brewster a point behind YD for first in the East. No score, top of the second here at Stony Brook Field. Jeff Luigi, the first batter of the inning. Righty Ryan Peach comes set from the stretch and fires. Luigi squares the bunt, shoots it right down to the plate. A throw from Alex Sosa, late foul ball call. As Luigi scampered in, he'll have to come all the way back. Said that was a foul ball.
Sosa, I don't think was too happy about the call, but he turned back and asked the home plate umpire about it, and as soon as he got an answer, he just kind of nodded his head in agreement, so seems like not too much of an argument there.
Luigi shot it right down to his knees, and Jake Brickta, the home plate umpire, after a couple steps when Luigi dropped the bat, called it off foul. Mike Rabideau is at first base, and the umpire Ryan DeMar is at third, with Brickta behind the dish. So after all that, it's strike 1 on Jeff Luigi, the left fielder from Duke. Peach stares in for his sign, now comes set from the stretch, glove at his belt. He delivers. Luigi turns his back to the pitcher as the fastball drifts inside. A ball and a strike. Well, it's not like Luigi started out as hot as he's been now, with hits in each of his last couple of games. 1-1. Fastball tails outside, 2-1. Got a hit in his first game on the 29th at YD. Went hitless for just the second time all summer the next time he played, and since has been on a tear en route to the All-Star berth. Dayton LaChance, the righty catcher, waits on deck. Nobody out, nobody on. The pitch. Check swing at the 2-1. It's a strike anyway.
Good pitch there, just a little bit on the outside of the zone, and Luigi bit. He's struggled a little bit with the inside fastball. He hits those on the outside of the zone pretty well, especially low in the zone, but it's that inside corner that's been giving him some issues.
Righty on lefty, the pitcher Peach comes set from the stretch. He fires. 2-2 chop to the dugout. On a 73-mile-an-hour curveball from the righty out of Xavier. Just the one start for the Brewster righty on the 15th against Wareham. He's yet to allow a run in the 2 innings he pitched. 14 games started for the Bulldogs this past spring. 2-2. Skips into the catcher Sosa, and Luigi runs the count full.
And this is what has made Luigi dangerous. He hasn't drawn a ton of walks, hasn't had a game with multiple walks yet, but he's always threatening. He always makes pitchers throw their best stuff to get him out because he's worked so many 3-2 counts. He's always using his eye to give himself an advantage.
Nobody out, nobody on. A 3-2 upcoming. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball right down Broadway, and Luigi swings behind it for out number 1. Back-to-back Ks for Ryan Peach of Xavier.
Yeah, he's starting to find a groove. We saw 2 flyouts to begin the game, but now come the strikeouts. He is a strikeout thrower. Struck out a high school record 19 batters in one game.
19 at 27 outs via the strikeout. That's just otherworldly.
Yeah.
Still no score here in the top of the second. 1 out. Here's Dayton LaChance, the catcher. First pitch. Jumps on it and fouls it over the netting. Strike 1. LaChance moving on from McLennan Community College in Waco, Texas to Oklahoma. A rising junior from Sherbrooke, Quebec. 6'4", 240-pound righty. Making his second appearance of the summer, rather third appearance of the summer for the Harbor Hawks. 0-1 pitch. A fastball, and it's fouled over the netting and out of play. The catcher, Alex Sosa, dropped the mask and followed it to the on-deck circle as it lands out of bounds, or out of play, rather. 1 out, no one aboard after Jeff Lugi's inning-starting strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Ryan Peach of Xavier. Still no score here in the top of the second between the Harbor Hawks and Whitecaps as the cross-division squads face off for a 4th time this summer. Corner infielders play deep, each of them in the outfield grass. Or rather, middle infielders deep, corner infielders also deep to guard the line. 0-2. Chance lays off a fastball that dips beneath his knees, 1-2. Well, Chance hitless in his 5 at-bats last time out at Chatham. He did have an RBI ground out in the 7th. It's to go along with a 1-for-4 performance at Bourne. 1-2. Curveball, he jumps on it, sails it into left field. Carson Curse has out number 2 in his glove. When Ryan Peach hasn't struck someone out, Graham, he's gotten them to flown out.
Yeah, he's done a really, really good job of just pitching to contact as well as getting the strikeouts. He's been aggressive. He's been a little bit more reserved and just relied on his spin and his movement, but he just looks really comfortable out there. Impressive for only making his 2nd appearance of the summer with this team.
Schaffner and Doby flew out. McKay and Luigi have struck out. Now LaChance has flown out, so 2 out, no one on for Charlie Bates, the lefty DH. First offering. Tails low and inside for a first ball on the fastball. Bates DHing for the first time this season amid a very good stretch of recent days at the plate. 1-0. It sails above his letters of the fastball, 2-0. Bates went on a 6-game hitting streak the last time these two teams played, rather it started the last time these two teams played on July 6th. That was after a 1-for-20 stretch with 12 Ks for the Stanford Cardinal shortstop. 2-0. Golfed into left field, but Carson Curse only need take a few steps back. Instead, he comes in to make the fly ball put out to end the 2nd inning. Another 1-2-3 frame for Ryan Peach. Faced the minimum through 2. Still scoreless as we head bottom 2 here at Stony Brook Field.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Time for the top and bottom of the 2nd here at Stony Brook Field. It's been a quick top 2 frames for Ryan Peach and at the plate for Hyannis. 6 up, 6 down for the righty out of Xavier. And his Whitecaps send 5, 6, and 7 to the dish in the bottom of the 2nd as Eddie Copper allowed a 2-out single to the 3-hole Brendan Lawson, but he was stranded after a deep fly out to right field in which Sawyer Black made a home run robbery to keep the game scoreless, headed bottom 2. Here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash. Hyannis and Brewster meeting for a 4th time this summer. Rising redshirt junior at incoming transfer to Charlotte, Eddie Copper atop the bump for a 2nd start in as many appearances, at least recently in this month. This is his 8th appearance of the summer, but only his 2nd start. Allowed 6 hits his last time out on the 13th at Catuit. Across 4 innings, 3 runs allowed as well, with 3 strikeouts en route to a loss. Lefty second baseman Dalton Wentz digs in, batting 5th today for Brewster. First pitch, a breaking ball, or fastball rather, that clips the outside corner of the plate for a first strike. Wentz, the rising sophomore out of Wake Forest, 0-1. Breaking ball tails outside, 1-1. He's been here for Brewster since day one. 26 games played for the lefty, to an average of 256. Hit a home run in the All-Star game on Saturday. And he gives one a ride here, but tails it foul.
He was hopping up and down because he knew he got all of that baseball. That was going to be long gone had it stayed in, but wind kind of pushing out there anyway to right field. It was kind of destined to be a foul ball.
Wind gusts around 11 miles per hour today. So the ball will fly. It didn't in those first 2 innings. 1-2 offering. Breaking ball misses outside and away, 2-2. Nobody out, nobody on for the lefty Dalton Wentz. Still a scoreless affair in the bottom of the second. 2-2. Breaking ball locates, and it's strike 3. Copper freezes Wentz with the breaker, and it's a first out of the bottom of the second.
Just caught the outside of the zone, and that's what makes Eddie Copper a really special and effective pitcher. He finds the zone a lot. Surprised that that's really the first time he's been close to a strikeout in this ball game. He's found the zone 64% of the time that he's pitched this season, so he just has success because he pounds the zone and he gets up and counts.
The lefty first baseman Colin Priest against the righty Copper. Ripped into right field, it dunks in front of Sawyer Black for a base hit. Wide turnaround first for Colin Priest, but he's in with a single. 1 out and a man aboard for Carson Curse.
And that's the second hit that's been taken by a lefty down that right field side, and it's poked right in between Doby and Ryan McKay. They're getting to that breaking ball pretty well, and they're ahead of it. They're just pulling it down that right side.
Curse hails from Marietta, Georgia, and attends Georgia Tech. Righty that's played 18 games for the Caps this year. 1 out and a man on. Copper from the stretch has his sign. Dishes a breaking ball that induces a swing and miss from Curse. 0-1 count to the left fielder. Just the second righty to this point in the order through the first 7 batters. Colin Priest on first base. 0-1. Swing, get a miss. Another curveball, another cut and miss from Carson Curse. 0-2. Copper set from the stretch, he fires. Curse shoots this foul behind the catcher LaChance to the backstop.
Copper just dealing a healthy amount of sliders right now, just continuing to throw them because Curse can't really keep up to it, or he's just swinging over the top of it. So wouldn't be surprised if he keeps going to it, but also this might be the time where, okay, you say Dayton LaChance, I'm going to say fastball, let it blow it by him.
Man on and 1 out. Copper dishes. And another foul ball. This one ricochets off LaChance, who stands up gingerly and throws it back to Eddie Copper. 0-2.
And that was the fastball, a little bit low in the zone, coming in at 90 miles per hour, but a good job from Curse to sit fastball and keep up.
Curse digs in for an 0-2 offering from Eddie Copper. He's got his sign from LaChance, still fighting off that ricochet. From the stretch, he comes home. Breaking ball tipped into the mitt, strike 3. It's just the second K of the outing for Eddie Copper. Both have come in this inning, and there's 2 gone in the bottom of the second.
And now that's 5 straight appearances for Eddie Copper with at least 2 strikeouts. He started a little bit slow, just 1 strikeout in each of his first 4 appearances, but now he's starting to dial it up a little bit more. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable and get back to his strikeout ways.
Here's the incoming Texas Longhorn out of Notre Dame, a catcher DHing today for Jamie Shevchik, the righty Carson Tinney. A man on and 2 outs, still a scoreless affair, bottom 2. Copper fires. First pitch breaking ball clips the letters for strike 1. Tinney stands 6'3", 220, an imposing figure at the mound that plays taller than his height. Lots of power in that bat. Just 3 home runs for the Whitecaps in 18 games this year. 0-1. Tails outside with a breaking ball. A ball and a strike. He had 17 long balls for Notre Dame this year in 48 games. Batted a shade under 350 with 55 hits to lead the Irish. 2 outs and a man aboard. The 1-1 offering. Launched foul down the first base line. A couple Harbor Hawks running towards it. as it drifts out of play. Long second strike for Carson Tinney. One on and 2 out. Bottom 2, it's a scoreless affair between Hyannis and Brewster. One of 2 hits for the Whitecaps in this game is from Colin Priest. He stands on first base now. Copper with the glove at his belt. He's set from the stretch. He deals. Breaking ball slides outside to level the count 2-2. Tall righty Tinney digs in as he squats into his crouch. Healthy leadoff first for Colin Priest. 2-2. Shot foul as Tinney nearly got down to a knee.
Eddie Copper still going back to those breaking balls. He's had a couple sliders that have missed outside, but there he goes right back to it, puts it at a good spot low in the zone. It starts pretty center, and he gets Carson Tinney to try and chase, but a good effort from Tinney to just match up with it. And now, with an even count, Copper theoretically can get a little creative.
Looking to get out of the bottom of the second with his 3rd K. He nods for his sign 3 times, now kicks and throws. Tinney laces this into the right center field alley. Long run for Owen Prince. It bounces the foot of the wall. Picks it up at the base of the wall. Here comes Priest from third. He gets the turn. The cutoff throw to second is late, and Brewster has its first run on an RBI double for Carson Tinney. Copper sure tested him. He left the breaking ball over the plate, and the catcher headed to Texas did not miss. Copper disengages ahead of the 0-1, or rather the 1-0. 2 are gone here in the bottom of the second. Just Tinney at second base. A righty at the plate. 1-0 pitch. Sinks below his knees for ball 2. A couple of fastballs in a row have missed to that exact location for Eddie Copper, both under 90 miles an hour at 89. Middle infielders take a step off the outfield grass, while the corner infielders shaded slightly to the bags. 2 outs and a man on. The 2-0. Similar spot at the knees, and the fastball clips for strike 1.
Just really good placement there. Went low in the zone. Wouldn't be surprised if we now see a righty-righty slider from Eddie Copper to try to get it to bend away from the hitter.
The righty atop the bump has his sign, looks back at second, now twice, and fires. Now the fastball dips below the knees. It's been that spot all count, but it's 3-1. All 4 balls from Copper have been low to Scott Newman, the center fielder out of USC Upstate. Righty on righty, a 3-1 count with 2 out and a man on. The pitch. Low, ooh. At the knees, it's called strike 2 to run the count full.
And he just kind of tapped his chest, did a little jersey tap saying, my bad. He went right back to home plate because he took a hop over to first like he got that walk.
Full count, 2 out, 2 on, a 1-0 Brewster ball game here in the bottom of the second. The pitch. Chopped high to Miles Davis. He charges to the infield grass, gloves, and throws off balance. High for Jace Doby, who leaps off the bag. And everybody's safe. Carson Tinney heads to third. He's 90 feet from run number 2 as Scott Newman legs out an infield single.
Well, it would have been pretty bang-bang regardless. It was a pretty good jump from the hitter. That's the second error in as many games for Miles Davis over there at third base. He's still trying to find his feet, find his sea legs a little bit over that position, and he's been struggling.
Difficult play for Miles Davis with a high Baltimore chop down the infield grass on the third base line. And had a difficult time throwing it as well. So 2 on and 2 out for the base. The 1-1. Off goes the runner. LaChance springs out of his crouch, throws it off the bag. But Schaffner in the right place at the right time for the tag out to end the inning. Scott Newman can't believe it at second base. He got his hands on his head. And Jake Schaffner makes do with a bad throw from Dayton LaChance to end of the frame. But Brewster scrapes across a run with an RBI double from Carson Tinney. 1-0 Caps headed top 3 here at Stony Brook Field.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Through 2 full frames here at Stony Brook Field, and to no surprise for anyone that's watched Hyannis and Brewster play this season, the Whitecaps have jumped out in front. Brewster's taken all 3 matchups from Hyannis this year, last of which here on July 6th was a 10-4 Brewster win at Stony Brook Field. And now Hyannis once again trailing the Whitecaps as they look to emerge from this all-star break and reclaim their lead in the West Division. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Hyannis here in the top of the 3rd as the Brewster starter Owen Peach has faced the minimum through his first 2 innings of work. Third baseman Miles Davis comes up to the plate. He had a play on an infield single from Scott Newman that extended the inning against Eddie Copper, the Hyannis starter. A Baltimore chop that he sailed high of the first baseman Jace Doby. And he digs in for a first at-bat of the top of the 3rd. 1-0 Brewster in this game. Peach looks in for his sign. The righty comes set from the stretch. Kicks and fires. Davis watches a first pitch fastball on the inside corner for a first strike. Davis just announced today he's headed to Oklahoma from the State College of Florida. Righty playing 3rd for a 5th appearance of this game. Breaking ball floats in for a second strike. I should say 5th appearance of this season for a guy that struggled mightily in his early goings of his first Cape League experience here with Hyannis. 0-2 upcoming from Ryan Peach. Fires it high, check swing on the appeal. He's out. It's a 3-pitch strikeout for Ryan Peach to keep the hot day rolling into the 3rd. And his 3rd K of the outing overall.
And that's kind of been the struggle for Miles Davis. 3 strikeouts through 2 games that he's played. He's played 2 others where he kept it clean, but as of late, the K numbers have been a little bit high for the 3rd baseman.
Now the lefty center fielder Owen Prince. 1 out and nobody aboard. The righty Peach fires. And he ropes a fastball into center field. Long run for Scott Newman, but the ball dunks in front of the center fielder as Prince scampers into the first base bag with the first hit of the game for the Harbor Hawks.
And this will give him the best chance that we've seen so far to try and steal a base. He's unbelievably quick. We know that, the stats say that, but he hasn't really gotten a good chance to, despite this being the 3rd game in a row where he's gotten a hit.
Stole 46 bases for the Virginia Military Institute to be 3rd in the NCAA in that category. Only caught 13 times in 59 attempts. The lefty from North Carolina, Sawyer Black, swings through a first pitch fastball upstairs, 0-1. 1 out, just Owen Prince aboard at first after his single follows up Miles Davis's strikeout. Here in the top of the 3rd, it's 1-0 Whitecaps over the Harbor Hawks. Black twirls the bat towards Ryan Peach, the pitcher, who turns and fires a pickoff move to first as the speedster Owen Prince dives back safely. The infield's got the lefty Black shifted to pull, with the second baseman Dalton Wentz fully in the right center field alley. Peach takes a long hold, renders a glance at first where Prince creeps off the bag. Turns and throws. Prince dives back in ahead of the pickoff. Go ahead, Graham.
I was going to say, it's pretty clear what his scouting report is, and that's why Peach is nervous with him over at first. He hasn't really done much. His lead hasn't even been that big.
I was about to say, one can only imagine what Prince's speed does to the mind of a pitcher. 0-1 offering. Prince thought about it. Carson Tinney springs out of his crouch. Ball misses low with a fastball, and it's 1-1 to Sawyer Black.
Yeah, Prince just playing mind games right now over at first, making that delayed jump, or that early jump and then delayed stop, just testing the speed and then also getting in the mind of Alex Sosa behind the plate.
Rising sophomore Black digs in from the lefty box as Prince dives back ahead of a 3rd pickoff move of this batter alone. First 3 of the game as well for Ryan Peach. Granted, it's the only time a Hyannis player has reached base against the righty out of Xavier. He comes set from the stretch and fires. Black slices the 1-1 foul down the third base line. Leadoff man Jake Schaffner waits on deck. Shortstop has been red hot of late for Hyannis as it broke a 5-game losing streak last week with a win over the Chatham A's on July 17th, followed it up with a win over Falmouth on the 18th. 1-2, the pitch. Skied on the infield. The shortstop Cal Fisher drifting towards the second base bag. He comes to the infield grass to glove the second out of the frame.
Black just consistently chasing a little bit high there, even on the first pitch. High fastball, and it appeared he was expecting a breaking ball because he was not only well late, but well underneath it. He just kind of got crossed up by Ryan Peach a little bit.
Owen Prince on first base with 2 outs here in the top of the third. It's 1-0 Brewster as Hyannis flips the order for Jake Schaffner. The lefty swings it, lefty swings it from the left side and plays shortstop. First pitch. He squares to bunt. Fastball comes above at the letters. On the appeal, he did not go around, although he thought about a bunt, pulled it back a bit too quickly to make it look like a check swing. But instead, it's 1-0. Prince has only threatened to steal once this season. 1-0. It dips beneath the knees of the fastball. 2-0. Schaffner flew out to start the game. He's looking to extend a 4-game hit streak entering this contest. 3 of the 4 games that he's got a hit in, he's led off, as he does today. Peach turns and throws to Prince, who doesn't even dive back ahead of the pickoff.
And he's just smiling at the dugout. He knows what's going on, and he knows how uncomfortable Ryan Peach is. He's enjoying it, I think.
In addition to the 46 bags he stole at VMI, he stole 30 bags in just 35 games for the Martinsville Mustangs of the Coastal Plain League. Prince, who stands on first base, activated by Hyannis on July 16th and played that day at Bourne. 2 outs, just Prince on first base, a 1-0 ball game in favor of Brewster here in the top of the third. The lefty Jake Schaffner at the plate, the righty Ryan Peach atop the bump. A breath. Now a pickoff move ahead of the 2-0, and Owen Prince still with an ear-to-ear grin as he scampers back in safely. Schaffner taps the plate with his black bat, swings it twice towards Peach, who comes set from the stretch. He offers and sails a fastball high for a 3-0 count to Jake Schaffner.
This is the first time in this ball game that Ryan Peach has really been down like this in an at-bat. Jake Schaffner doing a really good job using that eye and not biting on those high fastballs like Sawyer Black did just a batter ago.
The lefty digs in. Here comes the righty, and the 3-0 is right down Broadway with a fastball for a first strike. In addition to those 4 hits, Jake Schaffner has only worked 1 walk, but it's not like it's quelled his production. He has 5 RBIs in those 4 games. 3-1. Fastball clips the inside corner to run the count full.
Schaffner not too happy about it. It just crept in a little bit on him, and he spun out of the way, and when it was called strike, he just kind of shook his head.
He took a lap outside the lefty box, now digs back in. The righty Peach set from the stretch. Prince at first. Off he goes. Schaffner taps this over the head of Dalton Wentz and into left field. Prince gets the stop sign at third base as Schaffner scampers into the first base bag. It's a 2-out single for Jake Schaffner, and Hyannis has him on the corners here in the third.
Really good hit from Schaffner. Just kind of took one out the middle of the zone over to left field, right over Cal Fisher's glove. He leaped in the air, got pretty high as well. It was a pretty good jump, just couldn't quite get a glove on it, and that allowed a very speedy Owen Prince to go to third.
The rising senior of VMI with that speed, 90 feet away from Hyannis, leveling this game at 1 here in the top of the third. 2 outs, and just those 2 guys on for Jace Doby, the righty first baseman out of Nevada. First pitch. Breaking ball floats away from the outside corner for a first ball of the count. 1-0 Brewster here in the top of the third inning. It was Carson Tinney's RBI double with 2 outs that brought Brewster this win. And now out comes the pitching coach from the dugout. It's Brian Del Rosso who walks from the third base dugout to the mound to meet with his starter Ryan Peach.
Friends from Lasagna Love is doing a free raffle for a chance to win a homemade
Owen Prince at third base after his single followed Miles Davis's strikeout to begin the frame. Sawyer Black flew out to short afterwards. Jake Schaffner with a full count single into left field. He stands at first base.
The press box right here at Stony Field.
Home plate umpire Jake Brichta walks him behind the dish to the mound to break up the visit. And indeed, Brian Del Rosso leaves the hill and starts back for the third base dugout. Mentioned the last start for Ryan Peach, a righty out of Xavier for Brewster, came at Wareham on July 15th. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, did allow a clean sheet, but this is third time pitching into the first inning all summer. Started 14 games for Xavier with 59 2/3 pitched for the Bulldogs. 1-0. Fastball flutters inside and Doby lays off it. 2-0. Jace Doby 0 for 1 entering the at-bat with a fly out to right in the first. He's got 2 on and 2 out. Peach checks back at Jake Schaffner at first, as he did 4 times when Owen Prince, who's now at third, was standing atop the bag.
Schaffner not as big of a threat to steal, but if he goes and the catcher, Alex Sosa, tries to throw him down, you bet that Owen Prince is coming home.
Schaffner just 3 for 5 on stolen bases this season as Doby rips a foul ball down the third base line. 2-1.
Mitch Carricker even had to get out of the way a little bit. Over there at third base, it was right at him, but hit very, very hard. Just pulled it a little bit.
Doby's been an effective hitter, especially in these situations. 36 RBIs in 55 games for Nevada in his first year of D1 baseball out of junior college. Peach shakes off the first sign from Sosa. Now comes set from the stretch. Glove at his belt, he fires. Fastball misses upstairs, 3-1. Second straight 3-ball count for Ryan Peach. Now momentarily stepped away from the rubber, now retoes it from the stretch. Owen Prince at third, Jake Schaffner at first. 2 gone. And Doby at the plate with a 3-1 count. Peach looks for his sign, now comes home. Doby chops it third base line and foul. It's this sort of plate protection that enabled Jace Doby to go 4 for 4 in his first game against YD on July 15th. Cape League debut, but not his Summer League debut, as he spent last summer with the Macon Bacon of the Coastal Plain League. Righty digs back in, and that Stancic closes off the inside half of the plate with his right foot, or rather his lead foot is left on the back paint of the righty box. 3-2, off goes Schaffner as Doby lifts this high in the air to left field. Carson Kurtz charges in to make out number 3. As that ends a tumultuous frame for Ryan Peach with a couple of hits, both of them stranded with a strikeout and a couple of flyouts to go along with it. It's still 1-0 Brewster headed to the bottom of the third inning here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, and our own Ethan Wax has more.
Thank you very much, Gio. The All-Star break allowed teams to reflect on the first half of the season, make adjustments, and refresh for a sprint to the finish. And with teams tightly bunched together in both leagues, if history is any indication, a lot can change over the final 12 games of the season. Last year's All-Star break came a week later than this season's, but Hyannis came on to win the Western Division after trailing both Wareham and Cotuit at the break. So which team could make a late push to end the season? Last place Cotuit, with the worst record in the Cape League at 11-15, actually outscored its opponents by 18 runs, second best in the league, and has a statistical expected record of 15-11, which would be tied for the best record in the league. The Hawks visit Cotuit on Thursday. With the races in the 2 leagues, the closest in memory, as just 4 games separate the best and worst records, this year's finish could be more unpredictable than ever before. Now back to the booth for the guys.
Thank you, Ethan. It certainly is an unpredictable setting in the Cape Cod Baseball League at the moment. Couple of teams in the West and East divisions, all sorts of parity splitting them. Wareham in first in the West by just 1 point over both Bourne and Hyannis, with Falmouth in fourth at 25 points and Kentuit in fifth at 24. Falmouth and Kentuit, each a couple of teams that at one point had the lead in the West Division, in addition to the once first place Harbor Hawks. Righty Eddie Copper still atop the bump for the Harbor Hawks, who trail the Whitecaps 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. Adam Macpock at the plate. And the lefty watches a first pitch fastball sail above his letters from Copper, 1-0. Right fielder Macpock leading off for Brewster, but he did come to the plate in the bottom of the second as Scott Newman was caught stealing from first. Copper's 1-0. Sliced foul down the third base line, 1-1. Macpock, a switch hitter, has batted lefty both times now that he's faced Eddie Copper. Moving on from Boston College to San Diego State, having transferred this summer. 1-1 offering. Drifts high above his letters, 2-1. Copper's fastball resting 89, 90 miles an hour as that one clocks in at 89. Cal Fisher, the shortstop, waits on deck. 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball that paints the inside corner to level the count, 2-2. Middle infielders with their heels on the outfield grass, while the corner infielders deep to guard the lines. Miles Davis shaded slightly towards short. 2-2. Dips beneath the knees of Adam Macpock. Dayton LaChance stops it behind the dish, runs the count full.
Not too many three-pitch counts for Eddie Copper. Not many 3-2 counts for sure. This is going to test him a little bit, see what he goes with.
3-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike three. Macpock late to the breaking ball, or to the fastball rather, upstairs. And it's a first K of the third for Eddie Copper.
Well, he goes with old reliable, go with that fastball that's been doing a really good job of mixing up hitters, excuse me. He's got a lot of movement on that pitch. It's a pretty good one that kind of tails one way or the other. He can control it very well.
Now the righty Cal Fisher. Shortstop's got one out and no one on here in this bottom of the third. His Whitecaps lead 1-0. First payoff. Shot foul to Dayton LaChance, the catcher, for strike one. Fisher, an all-star for Brewster this season, out of Florida State, entering his sophomore year for the Seminoles. He'll do it off of 16 games played and counting for Brewster. Guy that got here a couple weeks into the season and earned an all-star berth. Went 2 for 2 in this Saturday's all-star game. 0-1. Sails over the zone with a breaking ball, chopped right to Miles Davis at third. A clutch, a throw in time for out number 2. Miles Davis, last time he got a ball at third base, sailed it over the head of Jace Doby off the bag. Second time he's done that at as many games, as he did it in that decisive top of the ninth inning against the Commodores on Friday. But thanks to Brody Briggs, his catcher, who sprinted all the way from the backstop of the plate to the dugout on the first base line to make the game-ending tag at second for Jake Schaffner of Micah New. First ball to Brendan Lawson, and the Florida Gator chops it. Backhanded field at first for Jace Doby. A flip to the pitcher Copper, and a lightning fast bottom of the third inning for the Harbor Hawks. Keeps it a 1-0 game in favor of the Whitecaps as we head to the top of the fourth. Graham Nash will have you covered for the middle innings of play-by-play here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Welcome back to the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. I'm Graham Nash alongside Max Schwartzberg. We've got you covered for these middle 3 innings here at Brewster. It's a 1-0 ball game in favor of the Whitecaps, something that the Whitecaps have gotten familiar with at this point against these Harbor Hawks teams. But they've got a new pitcher on the mound. First time that we're going to the bullpen. It's the left-hander, Zach Bates, a rising junior at Illinois, 6'2", 200 pounds, making his 8th appearance. He's got a really solid 2.31 ERA over 11 2/3, striking out 15, only walking 6, and he's coming in for Ryan Peach, who had a peach of a start.
Yeah, he did, Graham. 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. This is a Brewster Whitecaps pitching staff, Graham, that it's very high in the punch-outs, and Hyannis, they're a team that doesn't strike out all too often, so kind of a matchup, fire against fire, power against power, and something's got to give.
3 strikeouts on the day for Hyannis already. A little bit surprised that we didn't see Ryan Peach go a little bit longer. During his last season with Xavier, he pitched for as many as 6 innings twice. But the staff of Brewster, Jamie Shevchik, the head coach, wanting to mix in a new arm there. It's going to be Ryan McKay leading things off. McKay hitting in the 3 spot. Behind him, Jeff Lugie and Dayton LaChance. Maybe a big reason for the lack of success so far, Max, is that not one leadoff hitter for Hyannis has gotten on base.
And especially back in June, Graham, that's when Hyannis was at their best, when the leadoff guys were reaching. And I remember, especially back in those first couple weeks of the season, it seemed like whenever Hyannis had an off day specifically, they came back even stronger. They had 2 off days for the first time this season with the All-Star break, and still trying to get a little bit back into the groove offensively. So kind of more of the same almost for Hyannis, but they're still coming off winning 2 baseball games, so looking to make a difference right here.
Hyannis leadoff batters have struggled as of late. They've just been up and down in general all season. Right now, leadoff hitters with a .268 average, 28 walks and 44 strikeouts. But over both of its last 2, Hyannis leadoff hitters have been 1 for 6. 3 strikeouts at Chatham, 2 walks and no strikeouts against Falmouth. And Ryan McKay is going to try to switch up the way that these leadoff hitters have been going. McKay did strike out his first time up to the plate, that against Ryan Peach. Now it's Zach Bates on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. First pitch misses low, and McKay is ahead 1-0.
This is going to be a tough matchup for this part of the order with McKay and Lugie back-to-back lefties against Bates. Really funky arm angle and some high velocity.
And then add in, you've got Charlie Bates just 2 after Lugie, also a lefty, as McKay scoots out of the way inside on a pitch. Count moves to 2-0.
McKay has the puck back on his bat. Of course, that was kind of the start of the season he had it. Helps him be quicker to the ball, then he lost it on a swing. Never found it again, and he worked out fine.
His 2-0. Chopped down the first base line. It goes foul. That's going to be his first strike of the count. That was the thing. He told us that he hadn't been late to a single pitch all year with that puck on the end of his bat, but then he lost it and went on an unbelievable run, stretched a hit streak that I believe went over 8 days. But now he's put it back on, so it must be some reason that he wants to have it back there. But at the same time, batters can just always kind of be in the zone, in the mood to switch up feels, try to get some new momentum at the plate. McKay's 2-1. Inside, catches on a breaking ball. Counts level at 2.
And McKay's batting average saw a mark over .390 at one point this season. He's cooled off a little bit over the last few weeks. It's dropped down to .305, but a nice double in the All-Star game, and, you know, never hurts to try something new for some guys, Graham.
His 2-2. He's late. Strikeout number 2 on the day for Ryan McKay. The 4th for Brewster pitching. Another good start to the inning for Brewster. We mentioned before the ball game that pitching was what really helped Brewster, really led them to these wins against Hyannis. Before this game, Brewster pitching delivered 9 3-up, 3-down innings, 11 innings where it faced the minimum. There's already been 2 3-up, 3-down innings in this ball game as Jeff Lugie swings over the top of a breaking ball.
And this Brewster Hyannis pitching staffs, they're not that different. Hyannis's season ERA at 4.5, Brewster at 4.2. Of course, Hyannis plays better baseball on the mound on the road specifically.
The 0-1 to Lugie. Misses inside.
But a lot of Hyannis's blunders, especially in the pitching side, has really been the pre-July, post-July era since Hyannis went on that pretty tough losing streak as they now try to claw themselves out of it with the 2 consecutive wins.
1 out in the inning, 1-1 to Lugie. Catches on the outside of the zone, 1-2 count. Hyannis, it's been well documented. They've got a 6-5-2 record on the road. At one point, that was an undefeated record compared to 5-7-1 at McKeon Park. They're hitting better with runners in scoring position on the road. They're pitching better. So the 1-2 is fouled off straight back on a high fastball. And sometimes that's just the way things go. You think about it, and you would assume that the home ballpark would be where a team is more comfortable, but sometimes that's just not the case.
Well, the expectation is you play great at home, and you try to play at least 500 ball on the road. Of course, not all teams are the same.
1-2 for Lugie with 1 out. Grounded right back up the middle. Cal Fisher, the shortstop, gloves it right behind second base. He clutches, and the throw is late. Jeff Lugie makes his way over to first base and sets the table for Hyannis to try and catch up to Brewster, who leads 1-0.
Well, Fisher kind of took his time getting to that ball, looked up and realized, oh shoot, Lugie's almost at first base. He rushed the throw, and it was that bobble that really turned the dagger right there. We'll be interested to see on what the official ruling is, because if he fielded it cleanly, I think it would be a bang-bang play at first base, but once he had the bobble, that one made it questionable.
Still no official ruling on that swing. But Lugie stands at first, and the catcher, Dayton LaChance, comes up for the second time. LaChance nails the first pitch to center field. Scott Newman makes the catch, and Lugie has to retreat to first. It's been quick outs all ball game long for Brewster pitching, despite Hyannis getting now, well, 2 hits. We still aren't sure if that was a single or an error for Jeff Lugie, but around those, it's been a lot of quick outs.
Yeah, and the whips between these two teams also very kind of reflective of each other, both at a dash over 1.4, so it's not all too different. I think for Hyannis, it's been what's going on recently.
First pitch gets behind the catcher, Charlie Bates takes a ball, and Jeff Lugie steals second. And that was called an error for Jeff Lugie to get himself over to first base. So still only 2 hits on the day for Hyannis hitting. It's a 1-0 count to Charlie Bates, who flew out to left field his first time up. The pitch. Inside on a fastball, 2-0.
That's now 2 freebies in the inning issued by the Whitecaps. And one of the things that Hyannis hasn't done a great job of over the last couple weeks, especially in July, is taking advantage of free passes that the opponents give them. It kind of gets lost in the free passes that they've issued.
2-0. Inside again on a fastball. 3 balls and no strikes to Bates. And ironically, it feels like the times that Hyannis does take advantage of those free passes are when they're already well ahead. Against Chatham on the road, there were a lot of free passes dealt by that pitching staff. But Hyannis only allowed 1 run for the Chatham Bats. Just the way that this season has gone in July. 3-0. Upstairs and inside, Bates works a walk. For Charlie Bates, that extends an on-base streak now to 10 straight. He has been nails ever since the last game here against Brewster, where he ended a 6-game hitless streak. And now with 2 on, Miles Davis comes up to the plate with 2 outs in the inning. Davis struck out as the leadoff man in the top of the third inning. His first pitch catches the low part of the zone, 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Hyannis had one in scoring position in the third. It was Owen Prince, and they could not bring him around to home base. Davis takes the ball outside, and it's 1-1. A lot of fastballs right now from Zach Bates.
Yeah, a lot of them. And it looks like he's just trying to use that pitch to establish the strike zone because he's kind of struggling with command. The walk to Bates, nothing really all too close. And you got to find him with the heater before you can even think about anything else, Graham.
2 outs in the inning, 1-1. Ripped towards left field, and it's down in front of Carson Kearse. Jeff Lugie gets the wave around the throw well behind him, and he darts out of the way of Alex Sosa. Tie ball game at 1. Some really good base running from Jeff Lugie to avoid Alex Sosa, who did a really good job getting to that baseball.
Yeah, he did, and that throw, it almost hit Jeff Lugie on the way back home. It was so far up the third baseline. Nice send from Mitch Carricker, and Hyannis knots it up.
Well, at this point, if there's one thing we've learned about this Hyannis team, it's that they're going to be aggressive on the base paths. They always have been, and that's kind of been part of their identity. However, the number of bases that they've tried to steal has significantly decreased in July, which is interesting. Owen Prince up with still 2 on and 2 outs. He shows bunt, fouls it off straight back on a breaking ball. Prince's speed is well documented. Turned a single from Jake Schaffner into him getting all the way around to third back in the third inning. It was a 3-2 count with 2 outs, so we got a pretty healthy jump. Zach Bates, his first inning up on the mound, trying to prevent it from inflating on him. 0-1. Slow curve, misses inside. 1-1 count. So he allows a big hit, and then all of a sudden we're seeing more variety in his pitches, but still not finding the zone.
No, he went with the breaking ball there, and it was a good one. Kind of straightened him up, but still not too close.
Bates fakes a steal attempt. The pitch is low on a fastball. Count moves to 2-1, and now Alex Sosa is going to take time to talk to his pitcher, Zach Bates.
If I were Sosa, I would have gone out right after the RBI single from Miles Davis, because you're wild outside the zone, then you maybe miss one down the middle. Kind of maybe a couple pitches too late right there.
Bates had a pretty good last appearance. Only went for 1 inning against Falmouth on the 16th of this month. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Kept it very clean. He's got a 2.31 ERA to go along with it. But he's struggling right now against this Hyannis batting order. Bates locks back into a 2-1 count with 2 outs and 2 on. Owen Prince lifts the 2-1 down the left field line. It's curling foul, and it will go foul. So the count levels at 2-2.
And it still seems like Bates is electing to go on the inner part of the strike zone. We haven't seen, at least on these left-on-left matchups, there's been quite a few in this inning alone, a lot of stuff on the outer part of the plate, which is honestly kind of a surprise, especially if he gets that breaking ball working with that left-on-left slider.
Deuce is wild. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And I say actually he just foul tipped it back into the glove of Alex Sosa, but regardless, that ends the inning. Hyannis gets 1 across. It's 1-1 heading into the bottom of the 4th.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the rental source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Congratulations.
Bottom of the fourth inning, a 1-1 ball game between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the host Brewster Whitecaps. Eddie Copper still on the mound. This is his second start of the season. The first time that he started at Katuitt back on the 13th, he stretched 4 innings. And despite the 1 run that he's allowed, he's looked pretty solid tonight.
He has looked solid, and it's a really nice opportunity for Copper tonight when he's done it so far to bounce back. That Katuitt game, Hyannis allowed 17 hits to Kettleer's pitching, and they really got to Eddie Copper. So anytime a guy's able to come back and put up some strong innings, of course now, as we get deeper into the order the second time through, more challenges lie ahead for Copper, but a really nice start.
He's got a couple challenges that he's going to face right now. 3 lefties due up for Brewster. Eddie Copper himself, a righty. So Alex Sosa, Dalton Wentz, and Colin Priest with a bit of an advantage, especially considering that he's now in the heart of his second trip through this Brewster Whitecaps order. Alex Sosa had a high and long fly ball to right field. Sawyer Black reached over the outfield wall and robbed him of what would be a 2-run blast. His first pitch lifted to left center field. Coming in, Jeff Lugie, the left fielder, and he makes the first out of the inning. Well, as much as the Hyannis batting order has changed drastically since the last time these two teams have faced, so too has the Brewster Whitecaps. They've got a lot of new pieces. When we talked to the broadcasters for Brewster before the ball game, they said it feels like they're putting up a brand new lineup every single time that there's a ball game, which is something Hyannis can definitely relate to. Dalton Wentz with a strikeout. Takes a strike down low.
And I only believe, at least back on the first time these two teams met in the first week of the season, only 3 starters for the Whitecaps remain in this starting lineup.
0-1. Fouled down the left field line on a fastball. And that's just kind of what the Cape League is, but it seems like it's worse this season than it has been. Worse in the terms of just players coming and going. Teams losing certain guys that have been really, really big. Take, for example, Josiah Ragsdale of Brewster, who was the best hitter in the league a while ago. 0-2, fastball high, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I mean, the MLB draft is the really big one. But especially for Hyannis, it seems like it even started before then. Maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks before.
1-2 breaking ball. Gets Dalton Wentz to swing through it and strike out. With that strikeout, Eddie Copper has retired his last 5.
Now batting up first baseman from Clemson.
And to your point, there were a lot of guys not draft eligible that left for Hyannis. Just guys trying to get rest before the next baseball season because it's long.
Yeah, and the average age of the Hyannis offense is 20.2 years, so we thought that it wouldn't be affected as much as other teams, but I guess we were kind of wrong.
Colin Priest takes a fastball outside for ball 1 of his second at bat. He singled his first time up back in the second. He's the only Brewster Whitecap to cross home plate. He was brought home by Carson Tinney 2 batters later, who hit a double. Waits on a 1-0 breaking ball, and the count moves to 2-0.
And of course, guys who've played a lot of games during the college season tend to leave the summer early just to give their bodies some time to rest. But considering a lot of the Harbor Hawks are rising sophomores.
2-0. Fouled straight back on a fastball.
It's honestly still a bit of a surprise that we've seen not as much turnover because a lot of them didn't get very much consistent playing time their first year. For example, Charlie Bates only played in select games. Sawyer Black, of course, nursing that hamate bone injury, but only played in 16 games himself.
2-1 slider that curves in and forces Colin Priest to scoot his feet out of the way.
But I guess if you're Mitch Carricker at this point in the summer, of course there'll be a little bit of nooks and crannies, bits of changes, but maybe the core of the team is a little bit more established post-All-Star break.
3-1 to Priest. Fastball misses outside, 5-pitch walk. the first walk of the day issued by Eddie Copper. And another guy that you think of who didn't get a lot of playing time this last collegiate season is Jeff Lugie. Playing at Duke, only played a handful of games, but he was an all-star. He's had a phenomenal season. It's those kind of guys that feels like you really need to search for, especially late in the season. Carson Curse lays off on a first pitch breaking ball. It's outside. Curse struck out his first time up. That was back in the second inning. Still a 1-1 ball game. 2 outs in the inning. Is the 1-0. Just catches the outside corner. Eddie Copper, he hasn't gone down a lot in counts. He's been working ahead at worst level. It's really given him an advantage against a good Brewster batting team. 1-1. Fastball down the heart. 1-2.
And only one walk against Katuitt back on the 13th, and in each of the last 4 outings, 1 walk, but a lot of those in 1 innings pitch. So it's refreshing to see the first free pass coming here in the 4th inning.
Walks have been an issue for Hyannis pitching as of late. 1-2, skips into the glove of LaChance. He does a really good job of picking that, preventing Colin Priest from taking second. Over its last 15 games, or 16 games, Hyannis pitching has thrown 80 walks. Also struck out 145 batters. But the walks have been sky high for this team. That was phenomenal with walks in June. 2-2, low and outside, full count.
And what's been paradoxical about that is that when Hyannis has played, the better teams in the Cape League, it seems like they've toned that down almost as if they're playing up to their competition. But it's when they play teams like Bourne who struggle with the same thing, walks, that it all kind of snowballs and you see a lot of those free passes. I mean, tonight kind of case in point, at least so far, against a really good Brewster team.
2 outs in the inning. Full count pitch. Runner goes. It's low. Back-to-back walks dealt from Eddie Copper. And this is how it's all kind of fallen apart for Hyannis in July. The pitchers, specifically the starters, do a really good job when there's nobody on. But it feels like the second somebody gets on, command is totally lost as we see Mitch Carricker go out to the mound.
Yeah, it just puts a lot of pressure on you, and that might be it for Eddie Copper.
Copper going to hand him the baseball, and that's going to do it for his second start of his Cape League season. A new pitcher coming to the mound for Hyannis. We'll introduce him in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Max Stammel is the reliever for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. In the bottom of the 4th inning, knotted up at 1-1. Eddie Copper, his day finishes with 2 walks, so 2 still on in this bottom of the 4th inning. Max Stammel takes over. 2 2/3 his last time relieving against Bourne on the 8th. Allowed 2 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned. Also walked 4 and struck out 4. But then he also is coming off a start against the Bourne Braves. 4 innings, on the road. 2 hits, 2 runs, both of which earned. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 1 home run allowed. He's coming in to a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, he is, and Max Stammel kind of representative of this Hyannis pitching staff this year. Swing and miss stuff, but the walks are a bit high. Those 9 strikeouts in 5 2/3, but 5 walks at the same token. There's 2 sides to every coin, and it's about him. It's about the controlled wildness inside the strike zone, keeping it to the outside corners and really painting the corners. But here with 2 outs, he has the luxury not to elect to throw exclusively in the bottom of the zone and try to induce a ground ball. So Stamlet's got to feel a little bit better, but the pressure is on.
Hyannis bats did a good job of kind of coming alive in that last inning. Brewster pitching dealt 2 3-up, 3-down innings to start out this ball game. And then in the last 2, Hyannis bats kind of found a little bit momentum. So not only does Max Stammel need to get out of the inning, but preferably if you're Hyannis, get the bats back up quickly. His first pitch, fastball inside to Carson Tinney. Tinney absolutely roped the double his last time up to the plate. That brought home Colin Priest, who right now stands on second base. 1-0. Low in the zone, or Low misses the zone, so it's 2-0. Eddie Copper, the starter, was a righty. Stammel, a lefty, so a totally different look now for these hitters. 4 lefties in the batting order tonight for Jamie Shevchik, Brewster head coach. 2-0. Swung on and missed.
You like to see the challenge fastball right there because you know Tinney, who was in the home run derby, sitting dead red on something he can get extended on. Already has the RBI double in this game. But Stammel just shows no fear.
Stammel attacking him, trying to get that 3rd out. 2-1. Goes right back to the fastball, blows it by him for a 2nd straight time. Two men on, 2 outs.
I was just going to say, I'd say I wouldn't be opposed to him tripling up as long as he doesn't keep it too far over the plate. If he can make it on one of the corners, then he's got a good chance.
2-2. Lifted high. Pop fly. Ryan McKay just going into the outfield. It's going foul, and McKay drops it at the very last minute. It's in fair territory, which allows Colin Priest to come home. Colin Curse is at 3rd base, and Carson Tinney stands on 2nd.
Yeah, that's one that Sawyer Black has to take charge on. McKay's got one of the toughest routes to that. Only Jace Doby, the first baseman, had a worse route going straight back. But Sawyer Black was shifted towards right center field, so he had to move a long way himself, but that is a tough one for Hyannis. It's a tough play for McKay considering he has to go completely off to the left with his momentum going away from the field.
Makes it 2-1 Brewster. The Whitecaps retake the lead and match 1 run that Hyannis put up in the top of this 4th inning. Scott Newman in the righty's box. Takes a strike. Newman singled his first time up and then was caught stealing, trying to go to 2nd base. That ended the 2nd inning with Carson Tinney at 3rd. 0-1. Fouled right behind us. Count moves to 0-2. Max Stammel. A fastball, a changeup, and a slider. We've seen healthy amounts of fastballs, a couple breaking pitches. See what he goes with here. 0-2 and 2 outs. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Up in the zone, a fastball. Gets the 3rd out of the inning. Colin Priest comes home, makes it a 2-1 ball game. We're still locked into a good one here on the Harbor Hawks Network.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Top of the 5th inning, a 2-1 ball game. Brewster leading the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The Hawks got a run last time their bats were up, but the pitching just couldn't quite lock it down, Max. 1 run for the Whitecaps in an inning where there were 0 hits.
Yeah, just kind of reflective of the way things have been going for Hyannis in the month of July. And they were doing such a good job today at limiting the free passes. And then once you had that spell of wildness, the tough air, it all kind of snowballs. And this is a game where there's just not a lot of room for error on either side.
Hyannis going to send Sawyer Black, Jake Schaffner, and Jace Doby up to the plate, as there's a new pitcher on the mound for the Whitecaps yet again. It's number 37, Kyle Kipp. Kipp replacing Zach Bates after only 1 inning of work. Bates, he did allow 1 run across, and Jeff Lugie walked 1 and struck out 2. Kyle Kipp, making his 9th appearance, has not allowed an earned run. Something we talked about at the beginning of the show was how Mitch Carricker and this Hyannis team feels like Brewster has thrown its best arms at them every time they've played, and so far, that's no different, Max.
Yeah, and they've looked really good, and it's almost as if Brewster's really taking these Hyannis bats seriously, only going the inning with Zach Bates, trying to get back in the matchups in their favor. They know that this is a firepower Hyannis offense.
Hyannis still with the 2nd best on base percentage in the Cape League, but their average has dropped to 4th best, which they used to sit atop that table, that list, pretty healthily. Sawyer Black swings over the top of a first pitch fastball and just fouls it off. In the month of July, that's something that's really been noticeable, the difference in the hitting, as Sawyer Black swings over the top of a breaking ball this time, 0-2. In June, Hyannis was the best batting team in the Cape League. Currently, it's the 7th best batting team in the Cape League. An average 12 points worse than it was in June. 0-2, swing and a miss, dropped, 3rd strike. And Alex Sosa just gives Sawyer Black a little tap, and that's the first out of the inning.
And Kyle Kipp, reading the swing on the pitch prior, he induced a swing on a breaking ball down low. He goes right back to it, and another one down in the dirt. And it just shows how tough hitting is.
He's going to flip the order back to Jake Schaffner, 1 for 2 on the day with a single back in the 3rd. Schaffner playing a great stretch of baseball as he takes a fastball up for ball 1. Schaffner working a 4-game hit streak and on base streak, but he's gotten hits in 6 of his last 7. 1-0. Bends in for a strike. Slider catches the inside corner. What's really been noticeable is since he's returned from that hand injury, he's been hitting a lot of extra bases. As he shows bunt, pulls back, it's low, 2-1 count. Before he got hurt, no extra base hits. And since he's returned, 4 extra base hits, including a home run against Chatham. It was a grand slam. 2-1. Swings through a much slower pitch, coming in at 78 miles per hour. One out in the inning, nobody on. 2-2. Pulled down the right side. It bounces over the glove of Colin Priest. Schaffner turns first, is going to try to turn it to 2. Adam Magpok throws it back into the infield. And with 1 out in the inning, Jake Schaffner gets his 3rd double of the season.
Well, some guys just go through power stretches, Graham, where they're slugging. Jake Schaffner, case in point right there. You mentioned nothing before the injury. Now make it 5 extra base hits. Stay hot.
Schaffner extends that hit streak now to 5 straight. He has been phenomenal for the Harbor Hawks since returning from injury. As Jace Doby comes up to the plate for a third time. 2 flyouts on the day for him. Doby takes a ball outside on a curve. Doby, although he hasn't been able to get a hit, he's been hitting it really hard. Put one over to right field, one to left. Just trying to get that hit down on the dirt. 1-0. Gets past the catcher Sosa, fastball well outside. Schaffner takes third.
It's now the second wild pitch in this game for Whitecaps pitching. The last time Hyannis took advantage, scoring on it and making a run in Jeff Luigi. Hopefully for the Harbor Hawks they could do the same right here.
Doby 4 for 4 his first time playing for the Harbor Hawks. 1 for 5 the second time, and then a couple of 0 for performances after. Hot start, trying to refine his groove. It's 2-0. Breaking ball, catches the outside corner. Count moves to 2-1. He's got a very good eye. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Both of them came in his second game at Bourne. 2 1s outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. And over the course of 54 starts at Nevada this last collegiate season, Doby only struck out multiple times in 5 games. 3-1. Bends outside, 5-pitch walk. Second walk of the day for Bourne pitching, or excuse me, for Brewster pitching. We're just talking about the Braves.
And it's an opportune time as now we get to the meat of the order for Hyannis with Ryan McKay, 3, 4, 5 coming up. And he's definitely going to be looking to get some redemption after that error and make an impact here at the plate after 2 punch-outs so far today.
McKay's got the puck on the end of his bat for the first time in a while. First pitch. He fouls it straight back on a 12-6 curve. McKay, if you don't count the All-Star game, he's on a 2-game hitless streak. He did go 1 for 2 in that All-Star game. It's the second time this season that he's been held hitless for multiple games in a row. The first time was back on the 12th and 13th of this July month, not that long ago. Check over on Doby, he's safe at first. So wonder if he feels like maybe things are starting to unravel after a great middle stretch of the season.
And his average has dipped below 300 for the first time since the first week of the season.
1 out in the inning, runners on the corners, 0-1 on the ground to second base. Schaffner comes home, they try to turn 2, and they do. The Brewster Whitecaps with a defensive gem, getting Jace Doby at second, followed by Ryan McKay at first. And that will end the inning. Brewster still leads 2-1.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Bottom of the 5th inning, 2-1 ball game, led by the Brewster Whitecaps. Brewster scored 1 in the bottom of the 2nd. Hyannis matched them with 1 in the top of the 4th. Brewster in the bottom of that inning tallied their own to retake that lead. It's the 3rd time in 4 games played between these two that the Whitecaps have scored first. Hyannis, when it goes down first, is 2-9-1. That is something that's really significantly helped Brewster this season. But even still, Hyannis has really struggled in the month of July when scoring first. 2 losses this month, only 2 wins and 2 ties. It's just been a little bit of up and down July.
Yeah, it's just been that type of time for Hyannis, and we've talked about it all season long, especially during this kind of skid they've gone through. Every team goes through it in some way. And if you're Mitch Carricker, the positive that you can look at, Graham, is that it's not happening, or at least it's not starting right now. They have time to pull themselves out of it before the CCBL playoffs come up.
Max Stamel still on the mound, facing 1-2-3 this inning, starting with the switch hitter, Adam Magpok. He takes a fastball upstairs for a ball. And that's the thing, there are 2 weeks left, so plenty of baseball left to be played, but at the same time, it's totally crunch time. 1-0, fouled straight back, and Dayton LaChance wore that one.
Ooh, he's taken a couple tough balls today. Such a brutal position.
Home plate umpire of tonight's ball game. That's Jake Brichta taking a second, walking up to the mound, giving Max Stamel a new baseball. Give LaChance a little bit of time to recoup and get his wits back about him, but he's locked back in. Goes back down into his crouch. Magpok 0 for 2 with a strikeout in today's ball game. This is his first time batting as a righty. 1-1. Fastball outside, 2-1. Magpok 3 for 9 this season against Hyannis, has played in all 3 ball games before this one. 2-1. In the dirt, fastball misses. In the last game, which was played here at Stony Brook Field, Magpok was 1 for 3, stole 2 bases, played some unbelievable small ball to get Brewster an early lead, and they never gave it up. 3-1. Hit up the middle on the ground. Jake Schaffner gets it at short and throws a strike for the first out of the inning.
Good to see Stamel stay in the strike zone right there, because, and going back to our conversations about last couple of weeks, those uncompetitive misses, and that at bat alone, you had 3 of them for all 3 balls. Not one of those pitches that didn't catch the zone threatened. And that's what really kind of sets you up for failure if you're on the mound. So for him to come back, especially to the leadoff man, that's even more important, Graham.
Cal Fisher now up for the Brewster Whitecaps. He's also 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch, check swing, fastball upstairs. Appeal, no go, 1 ball, no strikes. Also a good sign for the Hyannis infield. During its long losing streak, or just winless streak, a couple ties mixed in there, Hyannis' infield really struggled with a lot of defensive errors. 1-0, swung on and missed. The fastball blows right by Fisher. And there were always those kinds of things, the little things, the infield plays that seemed routine that would go haywire a little bit for the Harbor Hawks. 1-1. Fastball moves inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And things just snowball on you when the entire team isn't playing well, and I feel like that's why those errors kind of stacked up towards the middle, earlier part of this month.
2-1. Fisher flies it down the first base line. Jace Doby, the first baseman, giving chase in foul territory. And he makes the catch. Had to go all the way over to the wall. But they're 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Hyannis looking for its second 3-up, 3-down inning of the ball game. The first came back in the 3rd when Eddie Copper retired 1-2-3 in this inning. Magpok, Fisher, and Brendan Lawson, who's now due up. Lawson 1 for 2 on the day, singled his first time up in the 1st. First pitch to Lawson. Off speed. Misses outside.
Still yet to throw a first pitch strike in this inning, but he's been able to navigate it. But it's going to be tough and more difficult as you get deeper into this order.
Broken bat up the middle. Schaffner going to get there in time to throw. Gets the runner. Brendan Lawson, a broken bat swing, but he couldn't beat out the throw. 3 up, 3 down, heading into the top of the 6th.
Owning a home means you can protect your family and put down roots in a community you care about. It gives you a place to celebrate the joys of daily living and be together during tough times. But for many on Cape Cod, home ownership is slipping further out of reach. Help make sure the American dream is available to the teachers, public safety professionals, and all the other people who make the Cape a special place. Visit capehousingmatters.org to find out more.
Still a 2-1 ball game here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Top of the 6th inning, Hyannis bats, bringing up Jeff Lugie, Dayton LaChance, and Charlie Bates. That's 4-5-6 tonight for Mitch Carricker. And they're facing a new pitcher, a righty from LSU, rising sophomore. It's Maverick Rizzi. Rizzi, making his 4th appearance, is yet to allow an earned run. 4 2/3 innings pitched. No walks, 8 strikeouts. Coming off a really good performance against Falmouth on the 16th of July. 1 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. And he is now the 3rd call to the bullpen for the Brewster Whitecaps. They're just trying to keep arms fresh.
Just keep the arm angles in. It's going to be tough for Hyannis facing a national champion in the LSU Tiger. Obviously every kid's dream, but Hyannis has bigger fish to fry right now, but Jeff Lugie, kind of the big part of the order coming up, and you got the nice left-on-right matchup right here to lead it off for Mitch Carricker, Graham.
Lugie 0 for 2. He did reach last time up on an error, but we keep coming back to how the leadoff men have struggled. Leadoff batters today for Hyannis, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. It's just been a little bit messy. They're still trying to find that groove, but no one better to maybe get that started than an all-star this season.
And it's been really impressive to see how Lugie has slotted in so well for Mitch Carricker, because he wasn't here at the beginning of the year. You know, he came in maybe like 2.5 weeks into the season, was a little bit slow to start, and then he just caught fire. And just seeing the stretch that this type of guy's been on, it's been so impressive. Yeah, his first game was June 29th. So 15 days.
15 days, there you go. Some quick math, mental math.
Yeah, I had to like calculate it in my head.
Well done. Lugie did not start in the All-Star game, but he did go 1 for 2. Crossed home plate, he struck out once. Part of a West team that lost to the East. The East put up, I believe, a Cape League record in home runs. You have to look up that number. It was so many that I honestly forgot.
Leading off.
Jeff Lugie, cool experience for him to get to play in that All-Star game. Took the place of Jackson Willits, who had a really, really good start to the Cape League season, then got hurt, had to go home. It was 7 home runs. 21 runs scored, the most in a Cape League All-Star game. Jeff Lugie hits the first pitch opposite way, cracks one off the bat, Curson left, makes the play, 1 away.
And nothing to hang your head about if you're Mitch Carricker and Jeff Lugie, because that's really good first pitch contact. And if you're attacking a new arm like that, it's showing confidence. And Maverick Rizzi, he's got to feel a little bit nervous after seeing the first swing he gives up.
It was hit really hard. Just one of those where it's right at a defensive player. Lugie not the only one on this Hyannis team that's been struck with that a couple times as of late. Gabe Camacho, another name that comes to mind. Dayton LaChance swings through a breaking pitch. LaChance 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to the outfield, 1 to left, 1 to center. His 0-1. An identical pitch and an identical result. Swings through the breaking.
Yeah, Rizzi just reading the swing on that first pitch. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I have a hard time believing he'll go back to that a third time. He might stay away, but might go to the heater.
0-2. Swing and a miss on another breaking ball. 7th strikeout of the ball game for Brewster pitching. The first for Maverick Rizzi.
Now batting the designated hitter.
Dayton LaChance,
number 17.
1 for his last 13 now with 5 strikeouts. A little bit of a tough start to his Cape League season, but also something to consider. There are 3 catchers on this Hyannis roster, and they all switch as Charlie Bates takes a fastball outside. There's a constant rotation. Dayton LaChance, Charlie Bates and Matthew Chattel.
You mean Brody Briggs?
I thought I got Brody Briggs in there.
You said Charlie Bates.
Oh, then I do mean
You got
Brody
Charlie
Briggs.
Bates at the plate.
Charlie Bates is at the plate. He took a breaking ball
side-eye
there.
you for a second. I was like,
Don't give me a side eye. Keep that over there, man.
All right, my bad.
It's 1-1 to Charlie Bates with 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 6th. The pitch, fastball low. Alex Sosa, the catcher, loved the pitch, but it's called a ball. Bates on a heater right now. He's 0 for 1 today. Drew a walk his last time up, working a 2-game hit streak. It's 2-1. Bends in a breaking ball right down the heart of the plate. But he's gotten hits in 8 of his last 9. That first hit stretching all the way back to the last time Hyannis played Brewster on July 6th. 2-2 fastball upstairs, count runs full.
Well, yeah, that game started that 6-game hitting streak. Then he had the 0 for on the 15th against Whitey, then right back on the horse with back-to-back games with a hit.
2 outs in the top of the 6th. 2-1 ball game. Brewster. Full count pitch. Fouled off down the left field line. 97 miles per hour. Bates caught up with it.
Yeah, that's also a stinger right there. He had it on the barrel, but he was so late on it that that one still gonna get a little bit of a ringing on the hands.
Second straight 3-2. Bates takes strike 3. 3 up, 3 down with 2 Ks for Maverick Rizzi. Brewster still leads 2-1.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Bottom 6, still 2-1 Brewster over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And still Max Stammel on the mound. Stammel replacing Eddie Copper in the bottom of the 4th. He got a good out, and Scott Newman struck him out. And then the 3 up, 3 down 5th. Really started to find his stuff, but it was all weak contact. 2 ground balls to Jake Schaffner and a pop out. And he's now going up against the meat of the order, so even though he's gotten that strikeout today, it's the swing and miss stuff that he leans on.
And with the offense kind of blundering for Hyannis, it puts more pressure on guys like Max Stammel, but they have to understand they got to stick true to their approach. And what you'd like to see from Stammel back in that 5th inning is while he didn't jump ahead of a single hitter to start in at bat, he was able to climb himself out of that hole. So this inning, let's hope that he can build off that and put himself in advantage counts to make it a little bit easier on himself, Graham.
Max Stammel going to go up against Alex Sosa, Dalton Wentz, and Colin Priest. 4, 5, 6 due up for the Brewster Whitecaps. And the first 2 in that combo of 3 have struggled. Combined 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Colin Priest 1 for 1 with a walk. Sosa, the lefty, steps into the box against Max Stammel, the lefty. And he takes a fastball away for ball 1. Stammel coming off a really good last appearance. It was a start against Bourne. Allowed 2 earned runs over 4 innings. He struck out 3 and walked 2. This is 1-0. Taken to center field, a high fly ball. Owen Prince takes a couple steps into the infield and makes the first out of the inning. But before Stammel's first started the season, he struggled against Bourne over 2 2/3. 2 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned off of 4 walks. It's just during the stretch where Hyannis relievers really struggled as Mitch Carricker comes up to the mound.
And after that error, as this might be the day, I was just going to say Stamel's set down 5 in a row.
And it will be the day. A pitching change for Mitch Carricker and the Hawks. Give a couple fist bumps, so it might be a matchup thing. Regardless, we're going to give you the new pitcher's info when we come back.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Sam Gerwal replaces Max Stamel in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gerwal making his second appearance. First was on July 15th against YD at McKeon Park. Went for 1 inning, allowed 1 hit and a walk, struck out 1, but no runs came across home plate. He replaces Stamel, who only threw 21 pitches, so must be more of a pitch count thing for him getting pulled, Max.
Yeah, because they're both left-handed pitchers. You figure they're going with this matchup as, you know, you're going to face Dalton Wentz and Colin Priest back-to-back lefties, and it's right back to the righty way. But it must have been a pitch count thing because, as I mentioned, there was that E4 back in the 4th inning, and then 5 in a row retired with the strikeout. Kind of surprised us, I guess you could say, but Mitch Carricker, of course, knows better, and he's got a guy who pitched a scoreless frame against YD his first time out.
Yeah, important to remember, we're not the managers here. We're not nearly as good at this as Mitch Carricker is. But it was a good appearance for Max Stamel. His line is finished. He went for 1 2/3, 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs allowed. And he's going to face Dalton Wentz, Colin Priest, as only 2 outs are needed to get out of the bottom of the 6th now. Alex Sosa had a high fly ball to center field. Owen Prince recorded the out. Dalton Wentz has struggled in this ball game, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Number 15, Dalton Wentz.
Wentz, switch hitter. Batted lefty against Eddie Copper, now in the righty's box. 2-1 ball game in favor of Brewster. 1 out in the inning, bottom of the 6th. Gerwal's first pitch. Taken for a ride down the first base line, but it goes well foul. Gerwal, a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. That fastball peaks around 92. The 0-1 skips in. Slider hits the dirt. And Gerwal, it was a clean first inning of work that he pitched on the Cape League, or in the Cape League, but it was a little bit testy. A hit and a walk. The bases were full of YD Red Sox. He was still able to work around it. 1-1. Catches the zone on the inside, a fastball, 1-2.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, Graham. Obviously, the ERA not taking a hit, but it did get a little bit touchy there, and he was able to get out of it. Of course, good pitchers escape jams, but he's looking for a little bit more cleaner stuff here against Brewster in this pitcher's duel.
1 out, the 1-2. Just upstairs, a fastball misses, 2-2. Hyannis' relievers really struggled during the long winless streak. But over the last 2 wins, it's really picked up its pace. 2-2. Down in the dirt again on that breaking ball. Count runs full.
And we keep coming back to these uncompetitive misses, but of course with the loaded count here, he's going to have to put this one in the strike zone. But a lot of times during the skid Hyannis has gone over, it seems like when they're forced to put it over the zone, especially when they played at Bourne last week, they've been really hit hard.
Full count pitch. Fouled off straight behind us. Fastball high in the zone. And even today that's true. The couple hits that Brewster has gotten, 4 for them, they've just been those breaking balls that have been left over the heart of the plate. Specifically, think back to that Carson Tinney double in the second inning. Gerwal locks back into the full count. 1 out in the inning. 2-1 lead for Brewster. The pitch upstairs on a heater. Third walk of the day for Hyannis pitching. But the first for relievers. This is how quickly it can change. Hyannis with 3 really strong innings to begin the ball game. The 5th was really good for Max Stammel, 3 up, 3 down. But when the walks first come, they just kind of gradually accumulate. It's hard for them to knock it off. Cullen Priest has a perfect day so far, 1 for 1 with a walk. And he takes a breaking ball low in the dirt. LaChance does a good job keeping it in front of him, so Wentz can't take second.
Gerwal, hopefully for Hyannis and Mitch Carrick are going to take advantage of this final left-on-left matchup he has right here until you get back to Brandon Lawson. Wells away.
1-0. Catches a fastball. Outside part of the zone, count moves to 1-1. When pitching in a deficit, Hyannis' walks have been pretty sky high, 49. That's second in the league for most. 1-1. It's bunted straight back foul. Cullen Priest pulled out the bunt pretty late. Now he's got a 1-2 count, so that probably won't come out again. And to go along with that second most walks when pitching in a deficit, Hyannis has only thrown 81 strikeouts, which is dead middle of the pack, despite them being best in the league in strikeouts. Swing and a miss, a breaking ball. Retires Cullen Priest.
And he did take advantage of the left-on-left matchup right there. And there's that low and outside slider that we've talked about all season long. When you're in the left-handed batter's box facing a lefty, it starts on the inside part of the plate and just darts away. It's a tough one to face as a hitter, and not everybody has it down.
Carson Curse up to the plate. He's a righty, so might not see that slider as much. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk in this ball game. He shows bunt first pitch, hits it off himself, and that is going to stop the play. Kind of got unlucky. It was a pretty good bunt attempt, but he just got a little bit underneath it, put some backspin on it, and it hit his chest. So the count moves to 0-1.
He was kind of already on the move to first base. He's lucky that didn't hit him while he was in fair territory. That'd be an out.
Seven, 8, 9 for Brewster, starting with Carson Curse, has really dealt damage to Hyannis pitching in this ball game. There's a check over at first base. Dalton Wentz slides in safely. Curse with the walk. Carson Tinney has gotten on base twice. He's got a double. Scott Newman also has a single in the 9 spot. Two outs in the inning. 0-1. Runner goes. The pitch is low. It's a late transfer from Dayton LaChance, and he can't even make the throw attempt. That allows Dalton Wentz to steal the first base of the day for Brewster.
Also, the first base on either side just kind of goes to show there's not been a lot of traffic for both teams in this tight one.
Only 8 hits between the two of them, 4 for each team. And hence a 2-1 ball game. Runner now in scoring position for the Whitecaps. 1-1, swung on and missed. Curse well behind a fastball.
Say he goes right back to it. But don't be afraid to keep this one up and out of the zone. It's still not too high, but at least not towards the middle of the plate.
Brewster 1 for 3 today with runners in scoring position. Wentz dancing at second. 1-2. Fought off down the right field side. We'll do it again.
And for Garibald, it's the fastball, slider, changeup. We've seen the fastball a couple times. We haven't seen the slider in this at bat. I say he plays off the fastball a ton and goes to the changeup low and out of the zone right here, Graham.
Runner on second, 2-1 ball game favoring Brewster. 1-2 to Curse. He scoots his back foot out of the way, nearly clipped him. It's a 2-2 count. Opposing teams have hit very well against Hyannis with runners in scoring position over the last 16 games. 304 average, 45 for 148. Two-two. Hit back up the middle. Sawyer Black in right has the third out of the inning. Dalton Wentz works a walk, but nobody can bring him around. It's still 2-1 Brewster as we make another call to the bullpen. Max Schwartzberg and Giovanni Collada will take you the rest of the way on the Harbor Hawks Network.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
Back here in Brewster, the Whitecaps enjoying a tight 2-1 lead over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and Mitch Carricker's got the bottom of the lineup ready to go here in the top of the 7th inning. Miles Davis, Owen Prince, Sawyer Black, and anybody gets on top of the order, Jake Schaffner a chance. But both teams, Gio, very similar in the scorebook. A 2-1 Brewster lead, but both with 4 hits, both with an error. It seems like whoever's going to score next, at least if it's Hyannis, they're going to tie, trying to look to take the lead, but if Brewster takes another run, that could be the game.
Well, the scoreboard shows pitchers dual max, and that's exactly what it's been. Both of these pitching staffs have been phenomenal, and the interesting thing for Brewster is it's a 4th pitcher on the mound. This is the first inning since the top of the 4th where Brewster is not making a pitching change. It's been a bit of a strikeout by committee kind of deal for Brewster today, who's at 9 Ks for the game, just 2 walks of Hyannis, and that's the difference so far.
Miles Davis picked up an RBI single back in the 4th inning. His first time seeing Maverick Rizzi, and he takes a first pitch slider outside, 1-0. That hit was just the 3rd of the summer for Davis. Who came in with an .077 batting average, and the 1-0 fastball is upstairs. 2 balls in, no strikes. Announced his commitment to Oklahoma earlier today. And another one of those JUCO guys on Hyannis with a lot of firepower. On a 2-0 pitch, Davis rips it down the right field line. 2 balls and a strike.
You speak of the power, Max. You saw it there with that foul ball that he just tailed a bit too far off the first base line. Davis going JUCO to D1 ball to join former Hawk Jackson Willits of the Sooners.
And Jason Walk on that matter. 2-1 fastball fouled straight back to the screen, and the count level at 2. A .378 average, 6 home runs, 37 stakes this past spring at JUCO. He's been marketed by himself as a good hitter and just looking to get into his groove as the 2-2 sliders upstairs, ball 3. I remember his first time out against Katuitt before the game when we asked him what to expect from him. He said, I'm a hitter and I'm really impressive in the box, and we're still kind of waiting to see that consistency, but he did have the RBI single back in the 4th inning and looking just to find his groove, find his footing. Payoff pitch from Rizzi, and the slider is at the top of the zone, strike 3 called. That's now 3 consecutive strikeouts for Rizzi dating back to the 6th inning, and there's 1 out here in the 7th.
As well as the 10th of the game for the Brewster Whitecap pitching staff that has done a very good job locating pitches such as that. Now the 3rd looking K of the game for the Caps.
So the speedy left-handed hitting Owen Prince comes up for the 3rd time, also a strikeout victim back in the 4th inning, but that was against Zach Bates, who was one of those Brewster pitchers who went just the 1. First pitch fastballs on the inside corner, 0-1. The entire Hyannis dugout did not like the call, and they all expressed that verbally right after the call from John Brickta behind the plate. A 2-1 Brewster lead here in the top of the 7th inning at Stony Brook Field. On an 0-1 pitch, Prince takes a slider that catches the outside corner, and he falls behind in a 0-2 hole. 3rd in the NCAA this past spring in steals. Still waiting to see that on display in Hyannis this summer, Gio. 0-2 fastball misses away, and the count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
To be frank, Max, he hasn't gotten a ton of chances to do it. And you look at the recent stretch for him, it's 3 straight games with a hit, including this one. And you say, well, where are his chances coming from? Yeah, he's got chances. He's getting hits. He's getting on base.
1-2 is a broken bat chopper to second base, charged by Dalton Wentz, throws on the run, and it gets by the first baseman, Colin Priest. Prince is off to the races, and he'll walk into second base. And the Harbor Hawks have the tying run in scoring position.
Well, there's a chance for Owen Prince to show off the speed. We were just saying situationally, even with those 3 consecutive games with a hit, he hadn't gotten a chance to do so. There he displays the speed, and it single-handedly allows him to stretch extra bases off a very difficult play at second base for Dalton Wentz. Had to bring the mitt to the chest and turn himself inside off a really high hop coming from the infield grass off that broken bat flare. And that sort of adjustment threw him off the plate. The first baseman, Colin Priest, stretched for it, but it dropped just outside of the righty first baseman. So for Owen Prince, it's an instant recognition, and then bang, he takes off. And you can see the blistering speed on display.
Well, Alex Sosa, the backstop, went out to talk to Maverick Rizzi. The conversation has concluded, and Sawyer Black comes up to the plate. 0-for-2 with a punch-out back in the 5th inning. He has faced a different pitcher now all 3 times up to the plate. And the ruling is an E3 on a missed catch that allows him to advance to second base as well. First pitch to Black is a fastball up and away, 1-0.
Now the second error of the game, and a 2-base error, Max, for a Brewster team that's committed as many as 7 in a game, most in the Cape League this year.
No stolen bases yet on the summer for Owen Prince, but with the front door open with the left-handed hitting Black, we might not see it here. On a 1-0 pitch, Black takes a fastball that again misses away. 2 balls in, no strikes to the UNC Diamond Heel.
Sawyer Black knows a thing or two about changing games, Max. 3-run home run on July 9th against Falmouth changed the complexion of that win for Hyannis.
Good hitters count to a good hitter with a tying run in scoring position for Hyannis and a 2-1 Brewster lead. A big lead from Prince. Noticing was Maverick Rizzi, who steps off the mound and disengages. Of course, no disengagement rule on Cape Cod. There is a pitch clock, however, and it's currently at 10 seconds with Black in the box. Here's the 2-0. Black swings, lines it towards left center field. On the run is Scott Newman, and it bounces in front of him. And it gets behind both fielders. Owen Prince waltzes in to score. An RBI double for Sawyer Black, and Hyannis knots it at 2 here in the 7th inning.
That's the advantage of having a player like Owen Prince on second base. Turns a 2-base error into an easy scoring chance off that double into the alley from Sawyer Black. And with any other runner along the base pass, Max, it might not have been as easy of a send, given the fact that Kurse got there pretty quickly for where he was shaded a hair towards the left center field alley. But Prince is just too quick. You can see by the width of his turn around third base, nearly brought him to the middle of the infield grass by the dugout. Super speed.
Jake Schaffner, top of the order for the 4th time tonight, takes a first pitch slider at the knees. No balls and a strike. Schaffner a double back in the 5th inning. And we mentioned no extra base hits before June 24th when he went out with an injury and missed 8 games. Since then, now 5, counting the double back in this game. 0-1 sliders downstairs, and the count levels at 1 with 1 out in the inning. Now a brand new ball game here in the top of the 7th inning. A 2-2 tie between Hyannis and Brewster. Black on second, Schaffner at the plate. Those two will be teammates this upcoming spring at UNC. And Schaffner sends a high fly ball left field. Carson Kurtz dwindling towards the line. He gloves it for out number 2.
And Max, you mentioned at the top of the inning that Hyannis is going to try and come into the frame trying to scrape that run. That's exactly what they've done. But now what happens is Hyannis goes right into the driver's seat with Brewster. Whoever gets the next 1, maybe 2 at this point, could walk out here with a win.
The Nevada Wolfpack product, Jace Doby, coming up for the 4th time tonight. Only 2 at-bats because he walked back in the 5th inning. His debut, a 4-for-4 night, but since then a couple offers in between. And the batting average still at .313 for Doby. First pitch fastball up and away from Maverick Rizzi, and the right-hander falls behind 1-0. Sawyer Black still on second base here with 2 outs in the inning. Outfield in no doubles defense. On a 1-0 pitch, Doby swings and slaps it foul off to the right on top of the Hyannis dugout. Maverick Rizzi on the mound, a national champion with the LSU Tigers. A .474 earned run average in 24 2/3 innings this past spring. Of course, defeating Coastal Carolina back on June 22nd, so a late ad for the Whitecaps. The 1-1 fastball misses away, and the count swings back in Doby's favor. 2 balls and a strike. Rizzi takes a look back at Black. Another 2-1 offering. It's a high slider fouled straight back to the screen, and he's right on that one, Gio.
Yeah, and Doby, a guy that'll swing it pretty hard, but also has shown the discipline to catch up to Maverick Rizzi's plate or pitches, because that sort of pitch recognition for a guy that tops at 97 like we've seen today and then dials it back to 82, it can be very difficult.
1 run home for Hyannis here in this 7th frame, looking for more with the go-ahead run a left turn away. On a 2-2 count, Doby takes a fastball upstairs for ball 3.
That's just what I was touching on, Max. Fastball in at 96, difficult spot and for a hitter, one that can be tempting to swing at up and at the hands. Now a full count.
First base is open with 2 outs in the inning. Black on second, the payoff to Doby. It's a slider swung on and missed, strike 3. But we have a brand new ball game here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. A 2-2 tie after the RBI double from Sawyer Black, who led to the bottom of the 7th inning on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Back here now in the bottom of the 7th inning, Hyannis pitching not in a deficit anymore, a 2-2 tie. And a new pitcher on the mound for Hyannis, Sam Gerwal, just went the 1 inning. And it's Zach Edwards on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. And Gio, he's been really impressive so far this summer.
He absolutely has. A hard-throwing righty in Zach Edwards is kind of slotted into this closer role a little bit with Ryan Speciak. Closed the game on July 17th at Chatham, but it was asked for 2 innings. Didn't allow a run nor a hit with a couple of strikeouts. Guy that's got a fastball that tops at 98 this season, also mixes in a slider and a changeup, both resting in the 85 to 88 range for the rising sophomore from Oregon State.
So the final line on Gerwal was 2/3 of an innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. So he continues to get out of a little bit of jam, still a little bit of the wildness spell from Gerwal, but still what matters is that he's holding runners or holding teams scoreless for Mitch Carricker, as there'll be a meeting of the minds between Dayton LaChance and the new noodle for Hyannis and Zach Edwards.
And it's not like Gerwal in that 6th inning, Max, as you mentioned, didn't have to face adversity, because he sure did with that walk of Dalton Wentz. Then you get the stolen base, but what does he do in response? A strikeout on a 3-ball count, and then the fly out to Carson Kirsch just a few pitches later to escape the damage unscathed.
From Texas, number 8, Carson Tinney.
Carson Tinney will lead it off for the Whitecaps. The DH batting eighth tonight, an RBI double back in the 2nd inning. And he takes a first pitch fastball way up and in, straightens him up, and Edwards falls behind, a ball and no strikes. Tinney fell short in the home run derby in the Cape League All-Star game just a few nights ago. 1-0 pitch is a slider that just clips below the zone. 2 balls in, no strikes to the right-handed hitting Tinney.
A home run contest, is it the home run contest or the actual game itself, Max? Because there was 7 home runs in the All-Star game along with 21 runs.
2-0's chopped on the third base line, but outside it, fielded by Miles Davis in foul territory. It's been a tough summer so far for Tinney, though. A 109 average in 18 games. But when he has hit the ball, they've been big hits. 3 home runs to go along with the 109 average.
And that's to go along with 17 hit home runs at Notre Dame.
Swings through the 2-1, and the count level at 2-2.
Guy that reminds me almost of, and Tinney, a guy that at the plate for, or behind the plate for Hyannis and Dayton LaChance, both big with big swings.
On a 2-2 pitch, Tinney fouls it straight back to the screen. Will do it again. And Tinney will be transferring from the Irish to UT Austin and become a Longhorn this upcoming fall. Hookem was a finalist for the Buster Posey Award, of course, Catcher of the Year. One of 3 finalists. It's a pretty incredible honor. And he rips the ball on the ground to shortstop. It takes a high hop off of Jake Schaffner's glove through the 5-6 hole and into left field. A leadoff single for Tinney, and an opportunity brewing for the Whitecaps.
For Jake Schaffner, who's been asked for a number of difficult putouts at short, at left, wherever you throw him in the infield, and in the field for that matter, that could be among the toughest. Backhand taking it into left field, it just clanks off his wrist, it seems, as a pinch hitter will come in for Carson Tinney.
From Louisiana Tech, number 10, Colton Coates. Now batting.
And it looks like Colton Coates will take over for Carson Tinney at first base. Scott Newman up for the 3rd time tonight, a single back in the 2nd inning. We'll see if Coates stays in defensively for Tinney, but rather on the DH spot, as Tinney is the DH.
And just to show how difficult that play was for Schaffner, deflected by shortstop Jake Schaffner, but it is a single for Tinney. Really hard hit into that 5-6 hole, as you mentioned, Max.
On a 1-0 count, Newman shows to bunt, and he stabs at it. Did he go? Yes, he did. Mike Ribideau rings him up at first base. Don't stab at it. It's not a sword.
Well, there's the risk of showing bunt there, although I think that's the proper play for Brewster in this spot.
Check over at first, and Coates is back safely.
Got this deadlock 2-2 tie. Max, we've talked about it last inning that the next two runs certainly probably going to be the decisive ones in this game. So anything you can do to try and scrape him across.
Shows the bunt again, and he might have stabbed at it again. And yeah, he did. Jake Brichta says he went around. A ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting Newman. A strikeout victim back in the 4th inning. That was against Max Stamwell. Another check at first. And Coates is back standing. Edwards, a rising sophomore at Oregon State. 6 1/3 innings so far on the Cape. Just 1 earned run. He's been really sharp with 8 punch-outs. 1-2 is a fastball fouled straight back to the screen, and we'll do it again. A 2-2 tie between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Brewster Whitecaps here at Stony Brook Field. Now in the last of the 7th inning. Max Schwartzberg here with you alongside Giovanni Collada. On a 1-2 count, Newman breaks his bat and fouls it down the first base line. He's going to have to get a new shillelagh.
Big part of the reason why Brewster is in this game as it is because of the plate protection, Max. You've seen a lot of foul balls roped down the third base line, first base side to the backstop. They're fouling them in every which way. They're jumping at a lot of these pitches is what that signals.
Seen a couple broken bats in this game. I remember Jace Doby had that one earlier in the game, and it was like the front side part of his bat completely chipped off. You don't usually see breaks like that.
Yeah, just a piece of the barrel.
Zach Edwards ahead of Scott Newman. A ball and 2 strikes with the runner on first. And the fastball misses way upstairs. And the count level at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out in the inning. A stolen base threat on first base in Colton Coates. Coates some speed, but he still hasn't stolen a base this season. He tries to steal one here, and the throw gets away at shortstop. Jake Schaffner not able to hold on to the baseball, and right on cue, swipes number 1. A second stolen base of the game for Brewster.
A great jump for Colton Coates, and he's got the speed to get there, but what a throw from Dayton LaChance. It skips into Jake Schaffner from his knees. He kind of fell forwards as he sprung out of his crouch so fast he couldn't set himself to make that throw, and Schaffner just couldn't glove the bouncer.
Now the go-ahead run 180 feet away at second base, and Coates, the 3-2 fastball misses by the letters, ball 4. 4th walk of the day issued by Hyannis pitching as the free passes continue to stack up against the Harbor Hawks. And the switch hitting Adam Magpok, who batted right-handed last time, coming up, gonna hit lefty here as Mitch Carricker's heading out. And we'll see if this is just a big mound visit for a scouting report, because Edwards only 14 pitches deep, and he's kind of been their guy to go to. It looks like he's just using this as an opportunity to coach right here with the entire infield on the mound.
I agree, Max, because you look at the last outing, final 2 frames against Chatham on July 17th. Edwards faced the minimum, retired all 6 batters he faced. And a part of this conversation, in addition to how do we pitch to a speedster in Adam Magpok, who with no outs is a fair candidate to bunt right here. For Edwards, he hasn't been in this situation in quite some time with the All-Star break, even splitting that outing 4 days ago now. So it's a time for him to dial in on Magpok, but also clear that mentality and come at this the right way.
Tenney on second, Newman on first. Nobody out. Magpok already squaring. And he goes around on the bunt attempt and falls behind 0-1.
It's a certain sign of respect when the first baseman, Jace Doby, is halfway on the infield grass across the first base line, ready to field this bump from the switch hitting Magpok.
Magpok already squaring. Both corners crashing in. The 0-1, he takes a fastball upstairs, and he's able to pull it back. The former Boston College Eagle will be transferring to San Diego State, so heading to the Mountain West from the ACC. Squaring to bunt once again on 1-1. The pitch from Edwards, he gets it down. Edwards gonna try to go back to first. It is in time with Ryan McKay covering. It's a 1-4 put out. Both runners advance, but the sacrifice is complete.
That's what Adam Macpock did so well for Boston College. This is a guy who won a game for the Eagles on a walk-off suicide squeeze in late March against Pitt. He's got blistering speed. I'd really like to see a race between Adam Macpock and Owen Prince of Hyannis, because those two have got some wheels.
Cal Fisher up for the fourth time tonight. 0 for 3, a fly out in the first, a ground out in the third, and a pop out to first base in the fifth. But looking to change that narrative here as Hyannis brings their infield in. 2 in scoring position in the 2-2 tie. First pitch slider misses inside. 1-0 from Zach Edwards. Hyannis with their back against the door here in the 7th inning. They have, back in June more specifically, been really good at stranding runners, but not right here. This pitch is lined out to center field. Long run for Owen Prince. He'll make the catch. And Carson Tinney, or rather the pinch runner Colton Coates, comes in to score on the sac fly.
Productive outs for Brewster, and that's super decisive in this close game. When it's a pitcher's duel like this, Max, anything, even the littlest of things can tip the scales one way or the other. Brewster playing small ball. You get that single, then the walk, then you get the sac bunt and the sac fly back to back. It's a couple productive outs that got the Whitecaps over the Hawks.
Brendan Lawson, a single back in the first inning, but since then he's grounded out a couple times. Coming up for the 4th time. There's a ground ball up the middle, slowly hit, and that'll trickle past Jake Schaffner and into right center field. An RBI single for Brendan Lawson, who attacks the first pitch. And the Whitecaps get to Zach Edwards here in the 7th.
2 really difficult plays for Jake Schaffner in this inning. First, the backhanded run that takes him into shallow left field. Here he's going the other way, towards right, behind the second base bag. He times his slide pretty well, but he's got to get the mitt over from his right side to his left to even try to have a chance at gloving this ball. And it ricochets off of his knee and past Ryan McKay into right. Schaffner being asked for a lot at the 6 hole.
And it's not like Hyannis gave them a free pass to start this inning at least. I mean, you wonder what would have happened if it was just a routine ground out to Schaffner, not one in the 5-5 hole into the shallow outfield, as the first pitch fastball misses outside to Alex Sosa, 1-0.
It's a great point, Max, and for outside of that, I'd liken this game to, at least on the other side.
1-0. Breaking ball just misses away. 2 balls and no strikes to Sosa.
Outside this inning, where you had 3 walks entering it, and yeah, sure, 1 error for Hyannis, and then a couple of hits to go along with that, to the tune of 5 for Hyannis and 6 for Brewster. It's almost like the Katuitt game 8 days ago, where Mitch Carricker said after that game, Katuitt just beat us. They hit our pitches, and that could be a little bit of what Brewster's doing here too.
2 runs home for the Whitecaps. The 2-0 fastball misses downstairs. 3 balls and no strikes. This inning started with the single, a walk, the sac bunt from Magpock, the sac fly, and then the RBI single from Lawson. A 3-0 count to Sosa. Taken all the way, and he takes ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. Second walk of the inning as well for Hyannis. 5 in all today, as it's really stacked up towards the latter half of this game.
And that, what we just talked about, Max, that might be true of the first couple of innings. But here in this inning, if you were trying to point to anything that took Hyannis out of it, should this score hold, it'd be this inning right here with free pass on after following a difficult play. Another difficult play gives Brendan Lawson his single, and then a couple of walks to go along with productive outs.
Switch hitting Dalton Wentz batting left-handed with 2 on and 2 down. And another ball thrown from Zach Edwards. Fastball up and away. It's now 5 consecutive balls thrown after that RBI single from Brendan Lawson. With Newman on second and Lawson on first. A 1-0 count. And the pitch is fouled off to the left and out of play. Count level up at 1 to Dalton Wentz. 2 punch-outs on the day, back in the 2nd inning and the 4th. And he drew a walk back in the 6th inning against Sam Garewal, the first batter to face Garewal tonight. Of course, Edwards on the mound now here in the last of the 7th inning. 1-1 is grounded slowly to second base. Ryan McKay straight away. Throws to first in time for the final out of the inning. But the damage has been done. Brewster answers right back. They take a 4-2 lead as we'll head to the top of the 8th inning.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Back here at Stony Brook Field, Hyannis back to that deficit mindset, at least in terms of the bats, and they take a 4-2 deficit here into the 8th inning. Ryan McKay will lead it off. Just had to double check that I didn't mess that one up. Jeff Luigi to follow, and Dayton LaChance up. It's the part of the order Mitch Carricker wants up, Gio, especially after Brewster comes back.
Yeah, very consistent couple of hitters. Your all-stars in this lineup in McKay and Luigi coming to the plate. Dayton LaChance has put bat to ball a couple of times, but they've both resulted in flyouts, Max, and he's got a big, powerful bat. So in the same way that Brewster took the lead with a couple of difficult plays for Jake Schaffner at short, along with a couple of walks and a pair of productive outs, Hyannis could employ the same strategy. If Luigi and McKay are able to work their way on, let LaChance take the big swing to try and give the Harbor Hawks the lead at this point.
Well, McKay, it has been a tough day at the plate and in the field for Ryan. He made that costly error back a little bit earlier, and then he's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, and then he grounded into an ending 4-6-3 double play. New pitcher in Maverick Rizzi's day is done. It's Landon O'Donnell, rising sophomore at Florida. 6'4", 230. And coming in to tonight, just 1 inning pitch for Brewster, so he's only making his 2nd appearance tonight.
From Michigan State, number 5, Ryan McKay.
Ryan McKay, first pitch fastball, misses away from O'Donnell. 1-0.
It's going to end the day for Maverick Rizzi of LSU. 4th pitcher to come in for Brewster. 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 4 strikeouts to lead the game in that category.
On a 1-0 pitch, McKay slaps it foul off to the left. The count level up at a ball and a strike apiece. Hyannis down 2, a 4-2 Brewster lead as it's getting late in the top of the 8th. And it's worth mentioning, no lights here at Stony Brook Field, but still plenty of visibility, at least right now. 1-1 to McKay. He swings and elevates on the fastball. A ball and 2 strikes.
To the point about the light, it obviously gets, there's less light to be had if you start at 5 versus at 4 or 4:30. This is the last 5 o'clock start at Stony Brook Field this summer. So all start at 4 from now on.
Nobody on, nobody out here in the 8th. And the 1-2 to McKay. Fastball changes the eye level way upstairs. 2-2. O'Donnell at the State College of Florida. And last time out against Bourne, he won 1 inning. McKay sends a high fly ball left field. Carson Curse towards the line, and fair territory makes the catch. And it's important mentioning Colton Coates remaining in the game for Carson Tinney as the designated hitter, so no impact at least in the field.
Now batting, the left fielder from Duke, number 12, Jeff Luigi.
Jeff Luigi coming up for the 4th time tonight. He has scored a run back in the 4th inning, but he reached on an E6 by Cal Fisher. Luigi's been red hot ever since he just started stringing hits together about a week and a half into his summer. Of course, his first game was on the 29th against YD at Red Wilson Field, and he takes a first pitch fastball up and away from Landon O'Donnell.
6-game hit streak on the line as well for Luigi. He's just got the reach on the error.
Out of the windup, and the pitch is fouled straight back.
You mentioned how hot he is, Max. He could be the hottest hitter in the Cape League right now. He had 3 multi-hit performances across this hitting streak. One of them, the one that started in 3 for 3 against Orleans on the 11th with an RBI triple. Just seeing the ball really, really well.
Only 8 games played for the Duke Blue Devils this past spring. 1-1 to Luigi, up and away. That couldn't have gone any worse.
I was going to say, I don't know where the Duke levels are, but
I combined Blue Devils and Duke, and then I switched everything. But he's another one of those guys that, after this pitch, 2-1, fastball downstairs, is really getting his first consistent collegiate action this summer on the Cape. And that's why it's so important for him to catch fire, because he's really having success at the college level for the first time in his career. He was just 1 for 8 at Duke, or 1 for 9 rather. 3-1, fastball, swatted foul off to the left.
Didn't get a ton of chances to play at a Blue Devil team with his teammate Max Stammel obviously pitching for Hyannis in this game, who's befallen a bit of a similar fate as a freshman. But with Duke losing its head coach to Virginia and Tony Pollard, Luigi stands to get more playing time, especially with his performance here on the Cape this summer.
On a 3-2 count, Luigi lines it to shortstop, and a catch by Cal Fisher to the backhand. And Jeff 0 for 4 today, so that hitting streak definitely on the line. As it's here in the top of the 8th inning, 2 outs, nobody on. And Dane LaChance, who is yet to reach base tonight, 0 for 3 with the K back in the 6th inning. Coming up. LaChance at McLennan Community College, 66 games, a 380 average with 21 round trippers. And will be transferring to Oklahoma.
He hit 2 balls in batting practice well over the scoreboard in left center field. A couple pitches later, flew one right into the Brewster bullpen. Look alive.
Hyannis has had their fair share of catchers this year, but not a lot of them sticking around for too long. 1-0 down low, 2 balls and no strikes. You have Von Lackey, of course, the opening day catcher for Hyannis, no longer here. Stone Lawless here towards the middle of the season. The Tennessee Volunteer left a few weeks ago. It's just kind of that mindset here in the Cape. Who's coming in, who's going out? 2-0 fastball is golf foul towards the parking lot. And the count moves to 2 balls and a strike.
Something every team has to deal with, but Max, there's no denying that Hyannis has had to deal with that a bit more, especially recently when compared to the rest of its counterparts. He just had a new signing today in Parker Brocious, a returning Harbor Hawk, not in the lineup today. But that kind of flux
2-1 down low
isn't rare in the Cape League, but for Hyannis to have it happen as quickly as it has, that's certainly odd. 6 new pitchers, now 8 position players since July 7th alone.
Hitters count coming up to Dayton LaChance from Landon O'Donnell. Tying run is on deck in Charlie Bates. 3-1 is skied deep to center field. This will stay in the yard for Scott Newman, who reaches up to make the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Landon O'Donnell. A 4-2 Brewster lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th from Stony Brook Field.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Back here at Stony Brook Field, and kind of brings some somber news. This game has been called due to the lack of lights here at Stony Brook Field. Here after 8 innings, a 4-2 final score. 4 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors for the Whitecaps. 2 runs on 5 hits and 1 error for Hyannis. And I gotta say, Gio, especially after 2 consecutive wins for the Harbor Hawks, this is a really tough way to drop a game.
It sure is, and I feel like a lot of the Hyannis dugout maybe feels it could have played one more inning with one more chance in the bottom half of the 8th to try and get those 2 runs back. But make no mistake that, should they go down in order one more time in the 9th, it's really deflating, right? After those 2 wins, especially in the way that they happened with that 7-run victory over Chatham on just 3 hits. And then you get the 6-5 win over Falmouth with some wild action in the top of the 9th inning as Brody Briggs threw out Mike Anu along the base paths on a sailed ball for Miles Davis. It's really tough to try and shake that off after the momentum going into the All-Star break. You can't help but wonder, did those 2 days off from normal play influence what Hyannis had coming into this game?
And it was just back and forth. I mean, Mitch Carricker, he's got to be pretty happy with the team's fight because they did a good job responding. The Hawks went down early, got a run up there, and then after going down again, put another one up. It's just the pitching couldn't quite keep up to the bats.
Well, for our entire production crew here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, for our broadcast producers Sam Montag, Daniel Bonalito, and Charlie Adams, for our sideline reporters Ava Fernandez and Ethan Wax, for my partners in crime, Giovanni Collada and Graham Nash, I'm Max Schwartzberg saying thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
.351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.